The following programs were originally aired live, long before the advent of high fidelity, and they were recorded using a variety of means, from direct recording onto early audio tape and glass records, to simply placing the microphone of a wire recorder in front of the speakers of a radio playing the program. I hope, however, that any variance in audio quality will not take away from your pleasure in listening to these, some of the all-time favorite shows.
The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Next guest will give you the laughs, just don't ask him to lend you money. It's Jack Benny coming up next.
The Jack Benny Program. Quality of product is essential to continuing success. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. So round, so firm, so fully packed. So free and easy on the draw. LSMFT, LSMFT, LSMFT.
You said it.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. So round, so firm, so fully packed. So free and easy on the draw.
Sold American.
Independent tobacco experts, auctioneers, buyers, and warehousemen present at the tobacco auctions can see Lucky Strike consistently select and buy the finer, the lighter, the naturally milder Lucky Strike tobacco. This fine Lucky Strike tobacco means real deep-down smoking enjoyment for you. So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike.
The Lucky Strike Program, starring Jack Benny, with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Larry Stevens, and yours truly, Don Wilson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, after a tour of military camps in Colorado, Missouri, Illinois, and New York, Jack Benny is back again in his little old home in little old Beverly Hills.
Ah, California, the land of enchantment, where the fragrance of orange blossoms permeates the air, the land of eternal sunshine. This must be last year's travel folder. Well, anyway, it's nice to be home after 8 weeks. Now, Rochester, where are you?
I'm out here in the kitchen unpacking your last trunk.
I'm packing my trunk in the kitchen. Isn't that a roundabout way of doing it?
No, boss, I already put your suits back in the closet, your shirts back in the dresser, and now I'm putting the sandwiches back in the icebox.
Oh, well, good. They'll come in handy on our next trip, I think.
You know, it's bad enough to take a few sandwiches in a valise, but, boss, a trunk full.
Rochester, there's nothing like playing safe when you're on a train.
I know, but when everybody else wanted to eat, they went to the diner. We had to go to the baggage car.
Oh, stop complaining.
And it was so dark in there.
Dark?
Yeah, remember how you got mad when I thought your fingers were asparagus tips?
Mad? What for? You didn't bite my fingers.
No, fortunately, you stopped me just as I was dipping them in the mayonnaise.
Never mind. Anyway, I only packed enough food to last us for the trip. How many sandwiches have we got left?
1 ham, 1 cheese, and 385 peanut butter.
385 peanut butter?
Yeah, they didn't sell so good, did they?
Rochester, I wasn't selling sandwiches. There were a lot of people who couldn't get into the diner, so I gave them those sandwiches absolutely free.
The sandwiches, yeah, but then you made me sing and charge them entertainment.
I only charged those that got up to dance. Now, I don't want to hear any more about this. Oh, darn it, there's that sculptor from St. Joe. Still working on my statue. I wish he'd hurry up and finish it.
Say, boss, I was just watching him make that statue, and he's got you standing there with your hand in your vest like Napoleon.
Well, what's wrong with that?
He's got your other two hands in your pocket.
3 hands? That's ridiculous. How many legs did he give me?
I don't know, but if the racetracks were open, I'd bet on you.
Well, he's the silliest guy I ever... There's the door. Maybe if I sent St. Joe a picture of me, they'd call that guy off. Oh, hello, Mary.
Hello, Jack. What's the matter? Something wrong?
Oh, you know that sculptor from St. Joe followed me to Denver?
Yeah.
Well, he followed me here, too, and he insists on finishing that statue.
Well, what are you complaining about? I think it's a wonderful tribute. They got a statue of Jesse James there, too.
Oh, fine. Comparing me to Jesse James. I never robbed a train in my life.
No, but you put a dining car out of business.
Rochester, go back in the kitchen.
Say, Jack, I got your message. What do you want to see me about?
I'll tell you when the rest of the gang get here. Why'd you come over so early, Mary?
Well, I got a letter from Mom, and I wanted to read it to you.
Oh, a letter from your mother? Well, what does the Lauren Bacall of Plainfield have to say?
Here it is.
Funny letter, Mary?
Oh, very funny. Plainfield, New Jersey, February 30th.
February 30th? Mary, February only has 28 days.
I know, but Mama doesn't think it's fair.
Oh, well, go ahead, read it.
My dear daughter, Mary, it certainly was exciting when you and Jack spent those few days with us on your trip east. It's too bad you had to dress in such a hurry that morning to catch the train.
We barely made it.
I didn't realize how much you had rushed until after you were gone. But don't worry, as I just mailed your toothbrush and Jack's hair. The one with the handle is the toothbrush.
No wonder I caught cold in Chicago.
Mary, darling, I must tell you the wonderful time we had in Jersey City last Saturday. Your father's doctor invited our whole family to attend his medical convention, and it was very exciting. The doctors held a beauty contest, and your sister Babe was voted Miss, it shouldn't happen to, of 1945.
I knew Babe could do it. I knew.
Your brother Hillard has been reclassified, and it looks like it won't be long now because the draft board has a new system. They take a phone book, pick a number, call it, and if you answer, you're in.
Well, the telephone is faster now.
Now I can understand those posters that say Uncle Sam needs you. He's not pointing, he's getting ready to dial.
Hey, your mother's not kidding, you know.
Your cousin Bobby is now a corporal and is already overseas. He's the one who took his basic training at Montgomery Ward.
Hey, your mother's funny, you know.
And now, in closing, Mary, I have some neighborhood gossip that will really surprise you. Guess who murdered his wife this morning? No other news, love, Mama.
Goody Ace will love that. Well, that's a fine way to end a... Come in. Oh, hello, Larry.
Hello, Mr. Benny. I came as soon as I got your message.
Well, I'll talk to you about it when the rest of the gang gets here, you know.
Okay. Oh, hello, Miss Livingston.
Hello, Larry. You glad to be home?
Oh, I sure am. And to celebrate my homecoming, all my friends chipped in and threw a big party for me.
How was it?
Well, I don't know. I couldn't afford to go.
Well, that's a shame. Say, Larry, did Mr. Harris send you the arrangement for your song for Sunday?
Yeah, and I think it's pretty good. Would you like to hear it?
Sure, kid, sure. Go ahead. Go ahead, let's hear this.
Good night, sweet dreams. Tomorrow's another day. Till then, sweet dreams, sweetheart. May angels up above watch over you and keep you safe, my love, until the dawn breaks through. Good night, sweet dreams. Tomorrow's another day. Good night, sweet dreams,
Well, say, that song sounded very good, kid.
It certainly did, Larry.
Thanks, Miss Livingston.
Oh, Mr. Benny, here's a note I just found. It was left by Mr. Wimbish, the man you rented your house to when you went away.
Well, I'll be darned. I forgot all about Mr. Wimbish. Let me see that. Dear Mr. Benny, if you remember the Mr. Wimbish you rented your house to, that's me. However, I lived in your house just 1 week, and something very urgent happened. I had to go somewheres, and since they asked me in such a nice way, I couldn't refuse. Sincerely yours, Private Wimbish. P.S. Profit by my experience. If the phone rings, don't answer it. Mary, your mother must have been right about all. Come in. Oh, hello, Phil.
Hiya, Jackson. I got your call. What's up?
I'll tell you when Don gets here.
Hello, Livy.
Hello, Phil. Isn't it great to be home again?
Yeah, this is what I kept dreaming about during all those cold weeks back east.
Yep, getting back to good old California.
Yeah, man, this is the only place for me.
You said it, Phil. Come on in the other room.
Okay, where shall I put my umbrella?
Right over there by Mary's boots. Say, Phil, you look a little tired.
Yeah, I am. All day long I've been helping Frankie, my guitar player, look for a place to live.
Did he find one?
No, Jackson, and the poor guy's practically an orphan now that they're closing the bars at midnight.
Oh, yeah.
If he hadn't have been locked in twice, he wouldn't have gotten any sleep at all.
Phil, look I'm getting sick. All you do is worry about Frankie, your guitar player. It's all I hear. You know, it wouldn't hurt you if you settled down yourself and got a little more sensible there.
What are you talking about, Jackson? I am sensible. Remember in Chicago when we met the fellow who draws the Dick Tracy cartoon?
Yeah?
Well, he said I was a very level-headed guy.
He didn't say you were level-headed. He said you reminded him of Flat Top. You level-headed.
Oh, stop picking on me. Every time I open my mouth, you jump right down my throat.
I'm not jumping down your throat. I'm just trying to give you a little advice, that's all.
Well, I don't need any advice from you, Mr. Anthony. I can take care of myself.
Mr. Anthony, I demand a little more respect from you, Phil. Remember, I'm the boss.
The boss, huh?
Oh, yeah?
Jack, that was a door buzzer.
Then why is Phil wiping off his chin? Is that the door? Come in.
Oh, hello, everybody.
Hello, Don. It's great to be home again, isn't it?
It sure is. Say, Jack, I got your message. What do you want to see me about?
I'll tell you as soon as Don gets here.
I am Don.
I mean Wilson.
I'm Wilson.
I'm mixed up.
I'm the door buzzer. Please forgive me.
Oh, shut up. Now, look, kids. The reason I asked you all to come over is because there's something important I want to talk to you about. your expense accounts for the trip.
Fasten your safety belts, fellas. It's going to be a rough ride.
You're darn right it is. But looking over the expense accounts all of you turned in, you must think money grows on trees.
Yeah, Jackson, and you got enough to keep you in the shade for the rest of your life.
All right, Phil, since you're such a wise guy, we'll start with you. What's this item for $10 marked valet service?
I had some suits pressed at the hotel.
I press my own suits. Now, Wilson, look at your account. What's this charge for $7 marked laundry?
Well, it's just what it is. I paid $7 to have some laundry done.
It's all that free soap and water in the hotel. You know, I wash my own clothes. Now, Mary, what's this charge on your account? $15 NG.
A new girdle. Let's see you wiggle out of that one.
All right. And Larry.
Yes, Mr. Benny.
Look at this account you turned in. $3 for your hotel room. Now, isn't that kind of expensive?
Well, I thought so, too, but that's what you charged me for sharing your bed with you.
Yes, kid, I forgot. And, Wilson, what are these other entries on your account here?
Oh, those are for lunch. Sunday, Monday, Friday, and Thursday.
Lunch, Sunday, Monday, Friday, and Thursday?
Yes, I just abbreviated it to LSMFT.
Oh.
And you know, Jack, I found out the most amazing thing.
What is it, Don?
LSMFT spelled backwards is TFMSL.
Well, isn't that astounding? What does it spell sideways, Don?
I don't know about sideways, but always it's Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
That's very clever, Don. Now, getting back to your expense accounts, I want you kids to be more careful in the future, but I'll pay you off now. Wait here, I'll go into my vault and get the money. Please turn your backs. Thanks.
Friend or foe?
Friend.
What's the password?
Password? Oh, yeah. A fool and his money are soon parted.
Oh, it's you, Mr. Benny.
That's right. How have you been, Ed?
Quite well, sir.
Me, too. Sure good to get back home, huh?
Oh, have you been away?
Yes. Yes, for 8 weeks. I went to New York.
Oh, must be nice there now.
No, Ed. It's winter.
Oh. Well, it's hard to tell in here.
Yes, I imagine it is. Take out your gun, Ed. I'm going to open the safe.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. The combination is right to 45, left to 160, back to 15, then left to 110. There. I need a louder burglar alarm. Well, let's see. This ought to be enough money. Well, so long, Ed.
Bye, Mr. Benny.
Say, Ed, I've been thinking you must be kind of lonesome down here.
No, I don't mind it.
Well, nevertheless, I'm going to get you a radio.
Radio? What's that?
Well, it's a new thing that people enjoy, you know?
Well, send one down. If I like it, I'll eat it.
No, Ed, it's nothing to eat, you know. Well, so long.
So long, Mr. Benny.
Well, here you are, kids. I've got the money.
Don't hold it so tight.
Look how white his knuckles are.
But just be glad you're getting it, that's all.
Oh, say, Jack, while you were in the vault playing Monte Cristo, My maid, Pauline, called up.
Yeah?
She said they delivered my luggage from the station, but my brown grip is missing.
Your brown grip?
Yes, and I've got to have it. All my lingerie's in that bag.
Well, gee, you better call up the station, try and find it.
No, I've got my car outside. I better drive down. Will you come with me?
Okay, make yourselves at home, fellas. I'll see you later.
Come on, Jack.
Just a minute. It's locked. Come on, let's go. Don't drive so fast, Mary. Take it easy. It's awfully windy with the top down. Let's stop and put it up.
But, Jack, fresh air is good for you. What if it does blow your hair around a little?
Listen, sister, it blows yours around. It blows mine off.
Oh, why don't you get rid of it? The way the wind keeps lifting it up, you look like you're reading a mystery story.
Okay. I'll put it in the glove compartment. Ooh, it's chilly.
Leave it off. You'll get used to it. Anyway, here's the station.
Yeah, there's a parking place right in front.
I see it. There. Let's go in.
Gosh, look at that mob in there. Gee, railroad stations are always so crowded. Now, let's see. Where's the...
Train leaving on track 5 for Anaheim, Azusa, and Cucamonga.
Come on, Mary. Let's go over to the baggage room and find out about...
Well, Bill. Bill, you old scoundrel, I haven't seen you since the Kansas City Convention 5 years ago.
Look, there must be some...
What a brawl that was. Remember Dolores, the hat-check girl? She's still looking for you.
Now, wait a minute. See, you made a mistake.
Holy smoke, Bill, how you've aged in 5 years.
Huh?
I told you in Kansas City that the kind of life you were leading would kill you.
Now, wait a minute. Look, and I'm not...
Now, Bill, I'm not scolding you. It's your life to live as you please. But it's beginning to tell on you.
Look,
why, you've even lost your hair.
He didn't lose it. It's in the glove compartment.
Mary.
Well, Bill, this must be your little one. My, she's grown since I saw her last. You know, young lady, I've known your father ever since...
I'm not her father!
You're not her... Oh... I get it. Still the same old Bill. Well, don't worry, Bill, don't worry. If I see your missus, I won't say a word.
Look, I'm trying to tell you...
By the way, are you still with the Catch-All Garbage Can Company?
Catch-all garbage? Look, and if you'll just listen for a minute... Look, fella...
I'll never forget the time you sold the city of Syracuse 2,000 garbage cans. And the first time they were used, the bottoms fell out of every one. What a stink that caused.
Look, mister, I'm trying to tell you that
I've got to run, Bill. I've got to run. I'm taking the train to San Diego.
Look, I don't...
Hey, San Diego. Remember that night, Bill? Well, so long, Bill. I'll see you in Boston in 48.
What a silly guy. I wonder who he thought I was.
Bill.
Oh, yes. Come on, Mary. There's the baggage room there.
Train leaving on track 5 for Anaheim, Azusa, and Cucamonga.
Look, Mary, I'll tell them it's in my suitcase. You know how they push women
Oh,
around.
you better let me handle it, Jack.
No, I'll show you how to get things done in a hurry.
Well, okay, but I think you're wrong.
Oh, say, mister.
Yes?
Yesterday when I got off the train, I missed a suitcase.
Well, now that's a switch. Just this morning, a man got off a suitcase and missed a train.
Look, never mind the jokes. Look, the bag I'm looking for is brown alligator with a double handle.
Just a moment. I'll look for it.
Okay.
Train leaving on track 5 for Anaheim, Azusa, and Cucamonga. My husband is out to lunch.
Now, Mary. Now, Mary, don't worry about your grip. I'll get it for you.
This is the only alligator bag I found. It has the initials ML on it.
That's me, Mervyn Larson. Here, I'll take it.
Ah, not so fast, Mervyn. First, you've got to identify the contents. Now, let's see. There, it's open. Now I'll go through the... Say, this can't be your bag.
Oh, yes, it is.
Really, Mervyn? You have such a deep voice.
Now, wait a minute.
Just look at this. 3 pairs of panties, 4 pairs of stockings, 2 nightgowns.
Now, look, smart guy, close that bag.
My bed, you old rascal. Up to your old tricks.
Look, will you please go away?
Good old Bill.
Hey, wait a minute. Bill, you said your name was Mervyn.
My name isn't Bill, is it, Mary?
No, it's Jack.
There.
Jack, what happened to Mervyn?
That's my name.
Then this bag is yours.
It is not. It's my bag.
Well, who are you and what's your name?
Her name is Bag and she wants her Mary. I mean, her name is Mary and she wants her bag.
Then for heaven's sakes, what's your name?
My name is Bill.
Good old Bill.
Look, go away, will you?
Train leaving on track 5 for Anaheim.
Well, I'm back from lunch, honey. Azusa and Cucamonga.
Oh, nuts. Come on, Mary, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, in the past 3 years, I have seen the Red Cross in action, both here and overseas. While we were on this last trip to New York and back, my gang and I visited many hospitals. And folks, if you could have seen what we saw, you'd give to the Red Cross so fast, their need for $200 million would be covered in no time. They're doing a job so big that they can only keep it up with our help. When we realize that the Red Cross now operates 727 clubs overseas, serves an average of 2 million meals a month, provides music, books, magazines, newspapers, and recreation to our men, that's something to be proud of. And how about the way they've been getting those packages into prison camps? All I can add, folks, is this. Let's do it now. Let's jar loose all the spare money we can and give it to the Red Cross. Thank you.
Jack will be back in just a minute, but first, here's my good friend L.A. Speed Riggs.
It takes fine tobacco to make a fine cigarette. And Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. The finer, the lighter, the naturally milder Lucky Strike tobacco.
This fine Lucky Strike tobacco means real, deep-down smoking enjoyment for you.
So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
The famous tobacco auctioneers heard on tonight's program are Mr. L.A. Speed Riggs of Goldsboro, North Carolina, and Mr. F.E. Boone of Lexington, Kentucky.
At 45, sold American.
Basil Rysdale speaking for Lucky Strike. LSMFT, LSMFT, LSMFT.
You said it.
Why, sure.
Yes, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
Well, Mary, we finally got the right bag, so you have nothing to worry about, you know.
I knew you could do it, Mervyn.
You can stop with that Mervyn now. Wait a minute, Mary. Didn't you drive past the house?
I don't think so.
Well, where are we?
Just a second, I'll put up the periscope and see.
I told you we should have had the top up. Good night, folks.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Tales of espionage are coming at you with CounterSpy next.
The National Broadcasting Company presents CounterSpy.
Washington calling David Harding, CounterSpy. Washington calling David Harding, CounterSpy.
Harding, CounterSpy, calling Washington.
United States counterspies, especially appointed to investigate and combat the enemies of our country, both at home and abroad.
These CounterSpy reports to the American people are brought to you each week at this time. Now, the case of the invisible insurrectionist.
Maria, the baby is crying again.
See, she does not sleep. And the doctor says it is sleep that she needs.
I know, Maria.
It is no good for her here in the city of New York. It is no good here for all of us, Juan. We should go back to Puerto Rico.
We will go back soon, Maria. Now, please try to make her stop. Please, my Maria.
See, I will try.
Salinas, my friend, come in.
Menard, I came as soon as I could. On the telephone, you sounded troubled. What is it?
Salinas, we have been cheated.
Cheated? I do not understand.
The man who promised to give us jobs in the mill in New Jersey.
You do not mean Mr. Franklin?
See, Mr. Franklin, the man to whom we all gave $50. The man who promised us jobs for that money. The man with whom we signed that contract. Salinas, he is a cheat, this Mr. Franklin.
Menard, how do you know this?
I have been there today in New Jersey.
You went to the mill?
Mill? There is no mill, my friend. It is all untrue.
No mill? No job? My $50 gone?
Yours and mine and all our friends who have come here from Puerto Rico for work. We must go to the police, Salinas.
No.
But this man, Franklin, must be punished.
First, we will go to this man, Franklin. I know where his office is. We will get what is rightfully ours in our own way.
That's quite an interesting story Menard has just told us, huh, Louis?
Sure is, Mr. Franklin.
You have cheated us all. Me, Salinas, and the others who have come here from Puerto Rico. I want my money back, Mr. Franklin.
So you want your money back, Menard. And you, Salinas? You don't feel the same way about it, huh, Salinas?
See, he does. Tell him, Salinas.
No harm will come to Menard. You promised, Mr. Franklin.
Salinas!
You were smart to bring him here, Salinas.
I do not understand.
You promise you will not harm Menard.
Mr. Franklin always keeps his word.
That's correct, Louis. I'll just see that Menard gets back to Puerto Rico. With what he knows now, it'd be unwise to allow him to remain here.
Salinas, you are this man's accomplice. You have helped him steal from me and your other friends.
It had to be done, Menard.
To take money from people who have so little.
Oh, it was not for the money. I am not a thief. It was for the good of our nation, Puerto Rico.
Our nation, Puerto Rico?
See, for its liberation. We must throw off the yoke of United States tyranny.
Then you are with the nationalists. They have made you betray your friends.
Oh, no, the cause. You do not understand, Menard.
I understand. You have been deceived by the real enemies of freedom. It is they who would impose tyranny upon us. Salinas, listen before it is too late.
Salinas understands that all sacrifices must be made for the good of the cause. Is that not correct, Salinas?
Yes.
That'll be all, Salinas. You may leave.
cannot believe this, Salinas. All our lives we were such friends.
Louis, Menard is shocked. Suppose you give him some shock treatment.
Sure, Mr. Franklin. What now, Mr. Franklin?
Take him down the back way and load him into the car.
Okay.
And Louis,
Yeah, Mr. Franklin?
bring your gun with you. You'll need it.
CounterSpy headquarters, Mr. Harding's office.
Braden, this is Harry Peters, phoning from CounterSpy Patrol Boat 41. I just received word that Mr. Harding's been trying to contact me.
Yes, Mr. Harding left hurriedly for a conference at the State Department with Mr. Jordan of the Puerto Rican Affairs Division. He instructed that you meet him in his car outside the State Department building at 11. The conference will be over by then. Mr. Harding said it was an urgent matter.
Got it, Braden. I'll be there.
All right, Adams. First stop, my house.
What's it this time, Chief?
Here, Peters. Read this bulletin. Came in early this morning from our New York field office.
How does this concern us?
Well, Juan Menard, the man who was found shot to death, is one of an undetermined number of Puerto Ricans who were taken in by a job placement racket.
Only the jobs didn't exist, is that it?
That's it. After my talk with the Puerto Rican Affairs Division, I'm convinced that the racket is more political than financial.
You mean in view of what's been happening in Puerto Rico?
Yes, Peters. We've come across all types of sabotage, espionage, enemy propaganda. This is probably the most subtle plan ever conceived of creating anti-United States feeling among Puerto Ricans.
Chief, you mean these people come here from Puerto Rico with the promise of work? They're defrauded, then they go back to Puerto Rico with stories of how they were taken over by some Yankee swindler.
Yes, that's right. And Juan Menard's murder could be the strongest propaganda point of all. You can understand now it's not just another murder case. It has overtones of insurrection attached to it. We've got a big job ahead of us.
Anything specific to go on, Mr. Harding?
Only a vague description of two men connected with the job placement racket.
Okay, Chief, when do I pack?
Now, you've got just enough time to stick a toothbrush in your pocket. We're flying to New York within half an hour.
Yes? Can I do something for you?
We're looking for Mrs. Juan Menard. I'm David Harding of the CounterSpies. This is Agent Harry Peters.
Oh, I'm Mrs. Gladys Milford. Won't you gentlemen come in?
Thank you.
Mrs. Menard is out to have a drug prescription filled. It's for the youngest of the children, the baby. I take it you're here concerning her husband.
Yes, that's right. Are you a friend?
I suppose so, in a sense. I'm with the Welfare League. We give family counseling and aid in such neighborhoods as this.
Mm-hmm. You've known the Menards for long, Mrs. Milford?
Since they arrived here several months ago, I've arranged for the two older children to go to day nursery. At the moment, I'm looking after the infant in the next room.
I see. Well, is there anything you could tell us about Juan Menard?
I knew little about Mr. Menard. We met only once. This has been a terrible blow to his wife.
Yes.
We're doing everything for her we possibly can.
Did the baby cry, Mrs. Oh?
Maria, these men are from the CounterSpies.
CounterSpies?
They want to ask you questions about your husband.
About my Juan?
My name is Harding. This is Mr. Peters. We won't stay long, Mrs. Menard.
Just a few questions, and then we'll leave.
Why did they kill my Juan? He was a good man. He did not hurt anybody.
Well, Mrs. Menard, do you remember your husband ever mentioning the name of the man to whom he gave money for a job?
He did not tell me the name of this man. Oh, the baby, I must go to her.
I'll take care of her, Maria. Give me the medicine.
See?
Now, you do what you can to help Mr. Harding.
Oh, gracias, Mrs. Milford. Gracias.
Now, Mrs. Menard, who were the other men who gave money to this person?
Please, I do not want to talk about it. Juan is dead. You cannot bring him back.
No, Mrs. Menard. But we can bring his murderer to justice.
Justice? There is no justice in this place. We should have never come. My Juan would still be alive.
Mrs. Menard, your husband was sacrificed to an evil political cause.
I do not know about politics. I only know that we came here and my husband was killed. I only know that it is bad here, that the people here are bad, that we cannot...
Mrs. Menard, listen to me. That's exactly what certain people want all Puerto Ricans to believe. Now, if we don't find your husband's murderer, if you don't help us, there'll be other murders. More than that, there'll be possibly a great deal of bloodshed in your homeland. Now, you wouldn't want other wives and other families to suffer as you have, needlessly. Would you?
Would you, Mrs. Menard?
No. No, I would not want that.
Then who were the other men who gave money for jobs?
Well, when Pedro Salinas told them about it, they all gave.
Pedro Salinas.
See, Salinas and Juan have been friends for many years.
Where can we get in touch with Salinas?
I do not know where he lives. He was here with Juan the night that...
He left the house with Juan that night, Mrs. Menard?
See.
And you don't know where we can find Salinas?
Oh, the girl he has, Lola, maybe she knows.
You have her address?
Oh, no, but she works at a restaurant on 110th Street. It's called the El Toro.
I see.
You will find the one who killed my Juan.
We're going to try, Mrs. Menard. And we'll start looking with Pedro Salinas' girlfriend, Lola.
So you're counter-spies. So what?
So we'd like to ask you a few questions, Lola.
Huh? About what?
Your friend, Pedro Salinas.
Where is he?
I don't know where he is.
Or where does he live? That is, when you do know where he is.
He never told me.
Never told you, hmm? Funny kind of a boyfriend?
Yeah, funny kind.
When did you see him last?
Last week.
Where?
What's the difference?
Now, don't make it rough, girlie. It's better answering questions here than in a jail cell.
My place. Okay.
Which is where?
106th Street, 785 East. One flight up, knocked twice.
You didn't see him after that?
Uh-uh.
Or hear from him?
Uh-uh.
No phone calls, letters, postcards, anything?
Sure you haven't heard from him since Juan Bernard was found in that alley, shot to death.
Who's Juan Menard?
As if you didn't know, hmm?
You two act like I'm a book of knowledge or something. Look, you got any more questions? I make my living here. The boss will get sore if he sees me wasting any more time.
No more questions, Lola. Just a word of advice.
Like what?
Stay here in town where we can get in touch with you.
I ain't going anyplace.
All right, come on, Peter.
Lola's a Lulu of a liar, Mr. Harding.
You're telling me.
Could have taken her in for questioning.
We may do better this way.
Which way?
When we get out to the patrol car, radio the field office to have a stakeout put on Lola's apartment. I think that may offer us the shortest distance between us and Pedro Salinas.
Hello.
Mr. Franklin, this is Pedro Salinas.
Salinas, where have you been? Why haven't you called me since the other night?
I have been hiding. After what happened to Juan Menard, I was afraid.
I'll explain that later. I want you to bring me the contract, the one you've been persuading your friends to sign. You still have it, don't you?
Yes.
All right, bring it to me. And not at the office here. I'll be at the warehouse near Mott Street. You know where. Get there as soon as you can. I'll be waiting for you. All right, Salinas. I'll take that contract now.
Mr. Franklin, you promised that no harm would come to Juan Menard. He was my friend.
What has become of your feelings for the cause? That should be far above personal consideration, Salinas.
You promised me.
It couldn't be helped. He made things difficult for Lewis. Isn't that correct, Lewis?
That's right, Mr. Franklin.
You lied to me, both of you. You wanted one dead.
You're trying my patience, Salinas. Give me the paper with the signatures.
Do like Mr. Franklin says.
I do not have them.
What?
I did not bring them with me.
What are they, Salinas?
I will not tell.
Lewis.
Okay. My arm. My arm.
I'll break it off. The paper, Salinas.
No. I will not tell. I will.
Come on.
Stop. Please.
please, stop. I can't stand it.
The paper.
Oh. It's in the house of Juan Menard. Oh.
He's out on his feet.
Now, Louis, we'll visit Mrs. Menard. We'll leave Salinas here.
That way, Mr. Franklin?
No, Louis, not that way. This way.
You are listening to the case of the invisible insurrectionist on CounterSpy. Tonight, there's another broadcast of NBC's Sunday evening extravaganza, The Big Show. Tallulah Bankhead will preside as usual, and tonight's stars are Bob Hope, Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis, Louis Armstrong, Rosalind Russell, Dorothy McGuire, Frankie Lane, and Meredith Wilson with his orchestra and chorus. And Sunday over most of these NBC stations also means another visit with the mischievous Harris family. Frankie, Julius, and all their friends on the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show. The chimes are your invitation every Sunday to The Big Show and the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show. Now, back to CounterSpy.
New York CounterSpy Field Office, Harding speaking. Yes, I certainly do. Go ahead. Yes, I have that. Well, thank you very much. Yes, of course, I'll let you know what happens. Goodbye. Peters, order a car to be ready for us out front immediately.
What's up, Chief?
That was Lola. Salinas told her to call us in case of trouble.
Does she know where we can locate Salinas?
Yes, Peters, if we're not too late.
Maria, you must try to rest.
Oh, you are very kind, Mrs. Milford. There are some people here in the city of New York who are so good, like you, and some who are so bad.
Were you expecting anyone?
No, I didn't.
Now, you stay right where you are. I'll see who it is. Yes?
Back inside, lady, and not a peep out of you.
Who are you?
Close the door, Louis.
What is the
Shut
meaning
your
of-
mouth, lady, and no one gets hurt.
Mrs. Milford, who are these men? What do they want?
I don't know, Maria.
It's all very simple, ladies. Juan Menard had in his possession a paper. I want that paper, Mrs. Menard.
I do not understand.
The work contract.
Contract? I do not know what you mean.
Well, perhaps you don't. Louis, commence searching.
Okay.
This is unlawful.
Isn't it?
You can't expect to get away with a thing like this.
But I intend to, madam. Really. Any luck, Louis?
No, not yet.
Be seated, ladies. Please. Thank you. I'll just wander around myself and help Louis. Yeah, there's not much of a view from this window, is there? Or is there? Come on, Louis.
Come on. What about the paper?
A car just pulled up downstairs. Two men got out and entered this building, and they certainly don't look like tenants.
Maybe cops.
We'll take no chance in finding out. Let's go. I warn you, ladies, stay right where you are.
Come on. Let's get going.
They're coming up to this floor.
We're trapped.
No, we can get up to the roof. Come on.
Stop! Stop, you two! Stop or we fire!
Coppers, Mr. Franklin. Well, this'll slow them up. My arm.
Keep going, Louis. We're almost there. Keep going, Louis. We'll make it. We'll make it.
Now they made it, Mr. Harding. They got away over the roofs.
Well, their luck won't hold out, Peters. We'll get them.
Plenty of bloodstains on the stairs leading to the roof. One of them's hurt. He'll have to get to a doctor sometime. Everything all right here in the Menard apartment?
No damage. Just woke up the baby. Mrs. Milford's inside helping Mrs. Menard.
Did your men catch them, Mr. Harding?
No, Mrs. Milford.
This has been terribly upsetting for Maria.
Yes, that poor woman's had plenty of trouble.
They said they wanted a paper, a contract of some kind.
Yes, we knew that from Pedro Salinas.
You found Salinas?
Just a few moments before he died in a warehouse. He was shot by a man named Franklin. There was also another man called Lewis.
Salinas told us to get here fast.
Well, did those two find the paper?
I don't think so.
Good. All right, Peters, you get started on that other matter while I take up where those two left off.
Harding, New York CounterSpy Field Office. Peters to Harding.
Harding, go ahead, Peters.
Chief, I checked on Franklin at the address Salinas gave us.
And?
It was an office, but right now it's just an empty space. Whoever was there pulled out like a fast freight.
Did you get any leads from anybody in the building?
It was strictly a dead end, Chief. No one knows the man called Franklin or his helper, Lewis.
All right, Peter. You may as well come back here to the field office.
You had no luck either,
I fared much better.
You mean you found that contract in the Menard apartment?
Yes, I sent the paper down to the lab for analysis. By the time you get back here, we should have a report on it.
I gotta get out of here, Mr. Franklin.
Easy, Lewis. We'd be picked up in a minute if we left here.
I gotta get to a doctor. My whole arm now is burning like it was on fire.
You mustn't complain. We were lucky to find this empty barge to hide in.
I can't stand it. Honest.
You'll survive, I'm sure.
Yeah. You can talk. You ain't got a slug in you. I don't want to die. If I stay here, I'll die.
Believe me, I sympathize with you, but you have the counter-spies to thank for your pain, not me.
I'm getting to a doctor.
Wait a minute.
Let go.
Are you crazy? You'll be caught.
I'm giving up. I'll wind up in one piece that way.
Get back down.
Oh, my arm.
You're not giving up. I'm not letting you.
That gun ain't gonna help you, Franklin. You fire one shot, and coppers will be swarming all over this barge.
I'm not going to use it for firing, Lewis. I'm going to use the butt end for another purpose. This.
Here's the lab report on that paper, Mr. Harding. I was on the way in when Parker handed it to me.
Did you look it over, Peter?
Quickly. It's an expensive type bomb. And here's a list of retailers in the city who handle it.
That's quite a long list.
Mm-hmm. Should I assign squads to start investigation?
Yes, right away.
Okay, we'll do.
And Peters... Oh, wait, just a minute.
Agent Braden to Harding. Braden to Harding.
Come in, Braden.
The body of a man who'd been shot in the right arm was found a few minutes ago by one of our harbor patrols.
Hey, go ahead, Braden.
It was found in an empty barge. Report indicates death was due to severe blows at the base of the head. Identification in clothing shows him to be Lewis Troy.
All right, Braden. Thank you.
The man called Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Chief, that leaves one to go. Franklin.
Yes. Well, now get to work on that list of paper dealers. We'll see where that leads us.
Hello. This is Franklin. I have to see you tonight. Please. I'll need money. I'd better leave the country. All right, then. The swamp over in New Jersey. All right. I'll be there at 10 tonight. So late. I thought you weren't coming.
I was unavoidably detained, Franklin.
You brought the money for me, Mrs. Milford?
I brought exactly what you need. Franklin, you fumbled badly.
You ordered me to get rid of Juan Menard. That was your idea.
It wasn't my idea that his body should be found.
That was Louis' fault.
It was your fault for choosing such an inefficient lieutenant. Was it Lewis's fault that you permitted that contract to get out of your hands so that you had to come to the Menard apartment while I was there?
How did I know you were there? I had to act quickly.
So quickly you were almost caught by Harding. Franklin, your stupidity has put the entire cause in jeopardy. I and the others worked for months, years, to gain a solid foothold in Puerto Rico, where we could threaten the snug bourgeois safety of the United States.
But I tell you...
Be quiet. It took me years to place myself in a position in New York where I could help with the eventual overthrow of the capitalistic enemy. And you almost spoiled everything.
You haven't been exposed, Mrs. Milford. You can still operate safely.
Through no help of yours. You've put our schedule for the coup in Puerto Rico at least 6 months behind.
We've waited so long, we can wait that much longer.
Perhaps we can, Franklin. But you can't.
Oh, What do you mean by that?
You can no longer be trusted.
Now, wait.
I have been put in charge of this phase of our work. And it is my opinion that for the good of the cause, you should be liquidated. Don't move. As they say, Franklin, he who lives by the sword shall die by the sword. Or in this case, the gun.
You wouldn't dare.
As a matter of fact, Franklin, this is the only course I dare take now.
Oh, wait, please.
This meeting place you chose makes it very convenient for me.
And for me, too, Mrs. Milford.
Harding.
Drop that gun.
Stand where you are, Franklin.
I'm not moving.
How did you get here?
Simple. We followed you, Mrs. Milford.
Followed me.
Through that contract paper. We thought the tracing of that type paper would lead us to Franklin, but it led us straight to your phony charity front. And on the way out in the car, my agents radioed me that they found some very interesting case histories in your files, with names and addresses of people here and in Puerto Rico involved in this plot.
Had a nice setup, didn't you, Mrs. Milford? Passing yourself off as a welfare worker in a Puerto Rican district in New York.
You were a welfare worker, all right. The welfare of the enemies of this country in Puerto Rico. Take them away, Peters. It gives me great pleasure to introduce a statement to CounterSpy from the man who probably knows as much as anyone in the United States about the Puerto Rican people and their welfare problems here. The Honorable Raymond M. Hilliard, Commissioner of Welfare, City of New York. Here is Commissioner Hilliard's statement.
Today's CounterSpy story has its basis in actual fact. I can well believe that many Puerto Ricans living here have been the victims of cruel and crooked exploitation. And I am convinced that communist saboteurs have deliberately stirred up trouble and have tried to wreck the unity of the citizens of this city and of the nation. I know that there was a time when communists had achieved a strong hold among those engaged in welfare work in this city. But it has been my task during the past 2.5 years to break their power, to throw out the communists, and to return welfare work to its proper place as an instrument of lawful government. We have found the Puerto Rican residents of New York City a decent and friendly people who hold that this government is their government. We are proud of them, and we know that they will not be deceived by those who would try to destroy us.
Thank you, Commissioner Hilliard.
Tune in every week, same time, same station, to CounterSpy. Listen next week for the exciting Case of the Pretty Plant.
A gracious guest brings her hospitable hostess a most unusual gift, and your counter-spies are started on their way to the breaking up of an international spy ring. How a drugstore led to the disaster when treason had the fragrance of hyacinth will be revealed for the first time next week in
Case of the Pretty Plant on CounterSpy. Tonight's CounterSpy program, originated in New York, was directed by Marks B. Loeb, dramatized by Edward J. Adamson, and featured Don McLaughlin and Manda L. Kramer. Lionel Rico speaking. CounterSpy is a Phillips H. Lord production. Three chimes mean good times on NBC. Want to know who's on the big show tonight? Bob Hope, Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis, Rosalind Russell, Frankie Lane, Dorothy McGuire, Louis Armstrong, Meredith Wilson, and the glamorous and predictable Tallulah. No wonder it's the big show. And Sunday evening also means another outstanding production by Theater Guild on the Air. Tonight, it's Boomerang starring Kirk Douglas. Join Tallulah and her wonderful guests on the big show. Later on NBC. Later on NBC. Later on NBC.
Hey, man. How about we check in with Fibber, Magee, and Molly next? That sounds good to me.
The Pet Milk Program with Fibber, Magee, and Molly. The first evaporated milk, Pet Milk, presents Fibber, Magee, and Molly with Bill Thompson, Gail Gordon, Arthur Q. Bryan, Dick LeGrand, and me, Harlow Wilcox. The show is written by Don Quinn and Phil Leslie and directed by Max Hutto, with music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. A well-fed baby is a happy baby, and pet milk babies are certainly well-fed. In pet evaporated milk, a baby gets all the important minerals of whole milk, combined with just the right amount of vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin. And there are 3 other points of equal importance. 1, pet milk is safe for your baby, as safe in its sealed can as if there were no germ of disease in the world. 2, pet milk is uniformly rich. There's no variation from one feeding to another to cause harmful upsets. And 3, pet milk is always easy for babies to digest. These are the reasons why so many doctors and hospitals approve pet milk for bottle-fed babies. If your baby needs to have milk from a bottle, ask your doctor about pet milk, the first food for millions of happy babies. Somebody always spoils the fun. When Mr. Magee was getting all that attention in the hospital last week, he was too sick to appreciate it. And now that he's home and enjoying his ill health, along comes the doctor and says, "Get up, you're well." But that's life with Fibber, Magee, and Molly.
Yes, I'm happy to say, Bubblehead, that you can get up off your fat back and quit gold bricking. You're well.
Are you sure, Doctor?
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was a pretty sick lad in that hospital last week.
I'll say. I had the various pneumonia, Fatso. Yeah, and that ain't hay. Fever.
Well, you haven't got it now, so you can get up any time.
Well, I don't want to get up too soon, Doc. A friend of mine had the various pneumonia one time, and they let him out of the hospital too soon, and next day he was back, and he had to stay a month.
My goodness, a relapse?
No, he got hit by a truck. It just shows to go you, though, that if they hadn't let him out when they ought to have kept him in bed, they wouldn't have had to bring him back because the truck would have went past before he could have got there. Can I have a cigar, Doc?
Certainly. It won't hurt you.
Thanks.
Have 2 if you want to.
Thanks. Hand me a couple, Molly.
Where are they?
They're right there in Doc's vest pocket. Thanks, Fatso.
That's all right. I'll put them on your bill. Now, look, don't lie there on your back all day. You hear me?
Okay, Doc. I'll turn on my side. Hey, can you give me some medicine to build up my strength, Doc? I got no strength, no energy, no vitalis.
I'll leave you some pills, the prettiest ones in my satchel. Come on, my dear. I'll give you the final instructions.
Okay. Certainly, Doctor.
Oh, you mean her. Well, don't go too far away, Tootsie. I might need something.
Mother will be within screaming distance, dearie. Now then, Doctor, is he as well as I suspect he is?
There's nothing wrong with him that a little activity won't fix. How's his appetite?
Spotty, Doctor. Nothing but chicken broth all day yesterday. But about midnight, when he thought I was asleep, he seemed to perk up a little.
Sneak down, got a cup of coffee?
Yes. And according to the evidence in the kitchen, he washed it down with a peanut butter and strawberry jam sandwich. A cold turkey leg. 3 bananas. A can of chili. A jelly donut. And when I came down this morning, there he was at the kitchen table, fast asleep with his chin in a bowl of cornflakes. Bless his little heart.
Well, it isn't his heart that needs a blessing, it's his stomach. But if there are any peculiar developments, like if he starts acting like he was grown up, give me a ring and I'll rush right over to the bus station and leave town.
Well, he really has been pretty sick, Doctor. You should have seen him in the hospital with a brave little smile on his tear-stained face while an intern read him the basketball scores. I tell you, he... Uh-oh, there's the grocery boy at the back door. Will you excuse me, Doctor?
Sure, go ahead. I'll leave the pills on the table here. Oh, who's this? Well, hello there, Teeny.
Hi, Dr. Gamble. Hey, what you doing here anyhow? What you doing? Somebody sick,
Well, not now, Teeny. Mr. Magee has been sick, but he's all right now.
Oh, I guess everybody's sick these days, I bet you. My little dog, Margaret, he had bronchitis.
Your dog had bronchitis?
Bronchitis. We took him to the Wild West show, and he got a sore throat barking at the Buck and Bronx. And then Willie Toops' billy goat had a little kid.
Excuse me, Teeny. Billy goats don't have kids. You see, it's the...
Oh, Willie's did, I bet you. He had a little kid named Artie up on the garage roof and wouldn't let him down. So we had to...
Hey, Doc, who are you talking to out there?
It's me, Mr. McGee, little Teeny.
Go on in and talk to him, Teeny. He's all right. I have to leave anyhow. So long, Hamhead.
Bye, low bucket. Don't forget your plumbing tools. Oh. Well, hi, sis.
Hi, mister. How you feel, Hiya.
Oh, not too bad now, sis, but I had quite a battle with the various pneumonia.
Oh?
Yeah. You see, Molly and me were visiting Mrs. McGee's Aunt Sarah.
I know a girl named Sarah, I betcha.
Yeah?
She's in my grade in school. She's got black and red hair.
Oh, she has, huh?
Yes, and...
I said she has, eh?
Has what?
Black and red hair.
Who?
Your little friend.
What's her name?
Sarah.
I know it. She's got red hair on top, and it's black on the ends where Willie Toops dipped him in the inkwell.
Oh.
You know, Willie gave me a beautiful necklace for my birthday. Oh, it's the prettiest thing, I betcha. Only I...
Excuse me, sis. I don't feel like listening. I'm too weak.
Oh.
Let me tell you about my illness. Well, sir, there I was in my hotel room. I had a temperature of 109.
Oh, boy, gee, a temperature of 109.
Yeah, a temperature of 100 and 9 doctors standing around. 9 doctors standing around trying to diagnose the illness. It was a toss-up between pernicious anemia and various pneumonia. They finally flipped a coin for it, a silver dollar. One of the nurses told me later that for most patients they only flip a nickel, but I was a special case. Well, sir, it was heads pernicious anemia and tails various pneumonia. And tails won, so I had various pneumonia. So they slapped me in the hospital.
Why'd they slap you? You tried to swipe the silver dollar?
No, I don't mean they really slapped me. I mean, they put me in the hospital. Private room, no visitors. Well, sir, weak as I am, I remember how I lay there.
Billy Mills and the orchestra, Mockingbird Hill.
Hey, Molly, did you see them pills Doc left me? I just had... Oh, never mind. Here they are. Hand me some water, will you?
Here you are. Are they helping you, dearie?
I'll say they are. I don't know what's in them, but the way I feel, they must be one of them new miracle drugs. It says on the label, Franastanesetin. Yeah, there's the name of the guy that discovered it, too. A fellow named A. Sneeded.
No, dearie, that says as needed.
Oh. Oh, yeah, that's needed. Well, here goes. Wow. I can just feel the energy building up.
Well, it can't be those pills working that fast.
Yes, it is.
The doctor said you'd be feeling better if you just get up and...
Oh, no, it's these pills, all right. These miracle drugs can do anything.
Yeah?
You know, there's a new one called miniocreptin. And that reduces an average guy 12 pounds in 2 weeks, miniocreptin does.
Heavenly days, how does it work?
Well, simple. Costs so much to buy the pills you can't afford to eat. Boy, this Franistan and this...
Come in. Oh, it's His Honor the Mayor with flowers. Hello, Mr. Mayor.
Hello, Molly. Hello, McGee.
Hi.
Heard you were home from the hospital, and I brought a little nosegay.
Well, thanks, kid. I never touched the stuff myself, but I do appreciate the flowers. Are they for me, too?
Dearie, he meant the flowers. You're confusing nosegay with Uncle Dennis.
Oh.
My, those are pretty flowers. What are they?
Cympidiums. I raised them myself.
No kidding.
Yes, I have a hothouse in my backyard, you know.
You have what kind of a house, Mr. Mayor?
A hothouse? You know, it's a
You
glass...
steal it yourself, boy, or buy it from somebody else that copped it?
That's a ridiculous question. I bought it, naturally.
Naturally. The mayor of this town thinks it's perfectly natural to buy stolen property. Whoop!
Stolen property? Wait a minute. I didn't say anything about stolen property, Molly. I merely mentioned a hothouse that I have.
You don't have to explain it to us, Mr. Mayor. We know those gangster terms. We listen to radio.
Why, certainly. My gosh, what'll they think of next? I've been offered hot furs and hot diamonds and even hot keg of nails, but a hot house, wow. How'd you get the house home, Latrivia? Through a fence?
Well, certainly I got it through the fence. I think I brought it up the driveway. It's a 40-foot building, McGee. It's a greenhouse.
The color of it doesn't matter, Mr. Mayor. A stolen house is a stolen house.
It's not a stolen house. Oh. Look, I'm sorry I mentioned it. Forget the whole thing, please. I take it all back.
Well, good for you, boy. You take it back before it's too late.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, you take this little hot greenhouse and put it back where you got it.
You betcha.
Some dark night when the people that live in it are out to the movies because you're talking...
Oh, stop it, please. Listen, both of you. Don't you know that a building in which flowers are raised is referred to as a greenhouse? It's also called a hothouse because the heat of the sun on the grass... Look. Yeah. When you were a boy, McGee, was there a long, low building in your town with thousands of windows in it that was a natural target for slingshots?
Well, now, let me think a minute. As kids back in Peoria,
I remember, McGee. Of course there was. Gipp's Brewery. Remember?
Oh, so you're going to bootleg beer, too, eh? By George Latrivia, if you think you're going to get away with raising flowers in the stolen house to cover up the smell of a home brewery that's illegal, too...
I am not going to rootleg home flowers. Home brewery. Look, I never said I troll a heen's tot house. You said... Oh, green house. Hot green mouth. I didn't say anything about faking home crews into stealing grown house. You were the ones that... I didn't say that it was... McGee?
Yes, son?
I'm going to a party next weekend on the governor's yacht. It will make me very happy if you'll go with me.
Oh, he'd love that, Mr. Mayor. A yachting party, hey?
Boy, millionaire stuff, eh? Well, I ought to make quite a splash in society, eh, Latriv?
Yes, that's what I had in mind.
Indian giver. He took the flowers away with him.
Well, we didn't need those anyway. You're not sick anymore.
Well, I know, Molly, but I shouldn't have this kind of excitement. It weakens me. Hand me the water, will you? I'm going to take another miracle pill.
You're not taking too many, are you?
No. It says take as needed, and I need them. Wow. Boy, are those wonderful. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run up in the attic and get my mandolin.
Your mandolin is in the hall closet.
I know, but I can never find anything in there. It's easier to look for it in the attic. I'll be back in a minute, kiddo.
Well, I'd better plump up the pillows. He'll be back on his back on the sofa before I can say who's coming up the front steps.
Hello, Molly. Hi, Hey, Molly, where's McGee?
Just went upstairs, Mr. Wilcox, to get his mandolin. He said, well, Mr. Wimple, I didn't see you.
Hello, Mrs. McGee. How is Mr. McGee?
Well, he's fine now, the doctor says. Sit down, boys. I was just going to make some coffee.
Oh, wonderful. I love coffee, particularly when it's loaded with good, rich...
Please, Mr. Wilcox, never mention that name to me.
Huh?
What name, Mr. Wimple?
Goodrich. That was Sweetie Face's name before we were married. Sweetie Face Goodrich.
Sweetie Face? You mean?
Yes, my big old wife. You know, I was sick 2 weeks ago myself. Bad throat. I cured it with a gargoyle.
You mean a gargle?
I mean Sweetie Face, my big old gargoyle.
Well, Wallace, did your insurance take care of your doctor bill?
No, I wasn't covered for sickness.
Do you have any liability, Mr. Wimple?
Well, yes, I have Sweetie Face, my big old wife.
Yeah. Yes, Wally, but tell me, were you sick in bed?
Yes, for a few days. And even after I got up, I still had a terrible pain in the neck.
Laryngitis?
No, Sweetie Face, my big old...
Look, boys, can I get you both some coffee?
Well, thanks, Molly. I don't think I can stay. And anyway, I just had 3 cups at the office. We keep the coffee pot going all the time down there. With all that good, rich...
Please, that name.
Oh, I'm sorry, Wally. Excuse me. I mean, with all that good, nutritious, and flavorful pet milk around there, it naturally suggests coffee. Because coffee with pet milk has a wonderful, satisfying, full-bodied flavor that's irresistible.
Say, does the company approve of everybody taking time off for coffee, Mr. Wilcox?
The company is in favor of anything or anybody that uses pet milk. And we do, and we love it. As everybody loves it who has experienced coffee augmented and enriched with Pet's delicious, creamy flavor. Because pet milk, besides being the first evaporated milk, is also the finest milk that...
Hey, Molly, I couldn't find my mandolin, but I found a... Oh. Hi, fellas. Give me a hand onto the couch, Junior, will you? I've been sick.
Why, sure, pal. There you are.
Thanks. Hand me that bottle of pills, will you, Wimp?
All righty.
Thanks. I feel better after I take a couple of these pills, Wimp. One of the miracle drugs, pranastanacetine. Made out of vegetable mold. Whenever you feel a little moldy, you just take one thing.
Well, look, pal, we got to go. Just dropped in to see how you were.
Oh,
sorry we can't stay for coffee, Molly.
Well, I'm sorry, too, boys. I have a new coffee maker, you know. Drip.
I have a coffee maker at my house, too, also a drip.
You mean?
Yes, Sweetie Face, my big old drip.
So long, Wallace. So long, folks.
Goodbye, boys.
Ah, boy, these pills are really the ticket.
Where to?
Health, Tootsie, bounding energy. You got no idea the effect of what a couple of these things does.
You're sure it's not your imagination?
What do you mean, imagination? Didn't you see how weak I looked when I walked in and seen Wilcox and Wimple?
Well, after all, you just run down 2 flights of stairs. And if 2 flights can be run down, I guess you can, too.
You betcha. And furthermore,
Come in.
Who is it?
Oh, it's Ole from the Elks Club, McGee.
Oh.
Hello, Ole. Come in.
Hi,
Well, hello, McGee. Hello, missus. I used to drop by to bring you a message, McGee. I thought you'd like to know, fellas at the Elks Club, hear you were sick and they feel very bad.
Oh.
Isn't that sweet?
But if you think they feel bad when McGee is sick, you should see how they feel when the news comes that he gets well.
Real happy, eh?
Well, if you call all the boys break their pool cue over their knees and stomp out slamming doors happy, yes, divorce, very. Which doctor is taking care of you, McGee? Gamble or Sorters?
Dr. Gamble, Ole.
Never heard of Sorters. Who's he?
Well, I never met him myself, but he seems to be very popular, doctor. Every place I go, I hear, I can't eat this, I can't do that, Dr. Sorters, Dr. Sorters, Dr. Sorters. But let's take to Doc Gamble. He don't be so busy, you know.
Say, how is everybody at your house, Ole? What do you hear from your boy in the Navy? Is he all right?
Oh, Lars gets along very good, missus. He writes last week they put him on SP.
Shore patrol, eh?
No, slashing potatoes. He says they just got back from a cruise to Europe, too. And Lars, he buys lots of red wine for his girlfriend.
Oh, a sweetheart in every port, has he?
Yeah, sure, and he likes a little port in every sweetheart. You know, Lars is a great boy with the women. Just like his papa was once. Maybe twice.
You used to be kind of a ladies' man, did you, Ollie?
Well, no, I was too young for ladies, Magee. I used to went with girls.
Oh, I see.
I was only 36 years of old, when I get married.
Just a boy.
Sure, but when I meet my missus, I know right away that's what's wrong. Huh? So we go to amusement park, and I have tattooed a big heart with flowers on it. And it says, Ole loves Christina with an arrow through it.
Isn't that romantic?
And right away, she gets angry.
Angry? You go to all the trouble of having Ole loves Christina tattooed, and it makes her sore?
Her name was Genevieve. Well, I calm her down, though. I have the man scratch it out and make it Ole loves Genevieve, and all is well, and we marry.
That must have been quite a deal. Mind showing us that tattoo, Ole?
Not at all, Magee. Next time my missus is here, I have her roll up her sleeve for you, Well, I go now. So long, both you fellas.
The King's Men and the Hot Canary.
Tweet, 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 tweet. Pretty words are necessary, even for a hot canary. This is my vocabulary, only tweet, tweet. Wouldn't it be fine and dandy if I had some love words handy? I could say you're sweet as candy, not just tweet, tweet. If I could talk like people talk, I'd tell you things you've never heard. And yet the way some people talk, I'm very glad that I'm a bird. Come to think I'm feeling merry, heck with my vocabulary. Love is all that's necessary, and I love you. Listen to the lovesick bird. Listen to the lovesick bird. It must be spring again, birds sing again, and love is the magical word. Tweet, tweet, pretty words are necessary. Tweet, tweet, even for a hot canary. Tweet, tweet, this is my vocabulary. Tweet, 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 tweet. Tweet, tweet, wouldn't it be fine and dandy? Tweet, tweet, if I had some love words handy. Tweet, tweet, I could say you're sweet as candy, not just tweet. If people could talk like I can tweet, how happy they would be. They'd walk down the street with wings on their feet and meet romance in every tree. Tweet, tweet, if you want to feel so merry, heck with your vocabulary. Just be like the hot canary all day through. Go tweet, oh tweet, tweet, tweet means I love you.
Ah, boy, oh boy, do I feel great. This Franistanacetine is wonderful stuff, Molly.
Well, you do look better, Magee. Lots of color in your cheeks.
Yeah.
Some of it pink, too.
Yep.
But be careful now. Don't overdo that medicine.
Oh, no.
You must have taken 100 of those pills already.
93, and I already feel it. Well, come in.
Hello there, kids. Hi, daughter. Hi, Joe. Oh, hey. I thought you was sick.
Well, I was, old-timer, in the hospital. Had various pneumonia. Doc Gamble is building me up with one of these new miracle drugs. You ever hear of Franistanacetine?
Nope, I knew a Franny Stanislavski, though. Classmate of mine in college, Franny was.
In college?
Barber College, daughter.
Oh.
Franny used to help me with my homework. Baldy, we called her later.
Well, I was very sick for a while there, old-timer, but my nurses put on a 24-hour schedule. They were.
Is that so?
Yep, every 24 hours, the nurse would come in, wake me up, and give me some sleeping medicine. I'm a lot better now, though, since...
Well, I was in the hospital myself at one time, kid. I was a very sick man.
Is that so?
In fact, the doctor said my condition was cuticle.
You mean critical?
Cuticle, daughter. I had hangnails.
What'd they treat you with?
Nothing but contempt, Johnny. I was saying to Bessie down at the draft board yesterday that
Wait a minute. Down at the draft board? Is Bessie working there?
Nope. Me and Bessie was down there on business, Johnny.
Yeah?
We took her brother Milford down to volunteer him.
Well, that was sweet of you.
Yep. The draft board took one look at Milford and decided to defer him.
Why'd they defer him?
Had to, Johnny.
Milford had a beard down to his belt buckle. They had to defer him to see what he looked like. Got a great big bushy chest of hair, too, Milford had. Very bushy. Opened his shirt at the police station last week, and they accused him of smuggling mink. By the time he proved, hey, what's he eating, Johnny? Is that good?
That's his medicine. It's his medicine, Mr. Oldtimer.
Ah, boy, does that pep me up. These are them miracle pills I was telling you about. Pranastanacetin. Greatest medicine I ever
But
took.
they were pigeon eggs, Johnny. See, the label there says squabs.
That's squibs, Mr. Oldtimer. See, that's the brand.
Who's this? Everybody's been here once, and, well, come in.
Oh, it's Teeny, McGee. Come on in, Teeny.
Oh, hi, sis.
Hello there, daughter. Little daughter.
Hi, Mr. Oldtimer. Hi, Miss McGee. Hey, Mr. McGee, Dr. Gamble just drove by and he asked me to bring you in some medicine, I bet you. Here you are. Pills.
Oh, thanks, sis. Nice of you to bring them over. I was just about out,
Oh,
too.
I was coming over anyhow, Mr. McGee.
Huh?
On account of the beautiful necklace Willie Toops gave me for my birthday.
Oh, yeah? Well, hand me that water, old-timer.
Here you are, son.
Only I broke the string on my necklace, and I put them all in an empty medicine bottle of my mama's, and I left them right here on this... Oh, that's them. There they are. There's my pearls.
What? You mean...
Mr. McGee is eating up my pearls. He ate all my pearls.
You mean these pills are...
You
Oh,
ate my
get a
pearls.
doctor. Get an x-ray. Call a jeweler. I've been taking pearls.
Fibber and Molly return in a moment. Say, is cream pie a favorite dessert in your family? Cherry cream, maybe, or coconut cream, banana, or chocolate? Well, then here's good advice. Next time you make your family's favorite cream pie, instead of using ordinary milk, use pet milk mixed with an equal amount of water. That'll make a wonderful difference, believe me, because pet milk is actually more than twice as rich as ordinary milk. Even when it's mixed with half and half with water, it's still richer milk than you usually get in bottles. Try it. You'll see. And when your family tastes that creamy, smooth, rich-tasting pie made with pet milk, there's bound to be extra praise coming your way. Get some pet milk at your grocer's tomorrow and try a pet milk cream pie soon. I'll bet you'll love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been fun tonight, but last week I was really sick. I spent a few days in a very fine hospital in Denver, Colorado. I can't say thank you enough to all those wonderful Denver people who made my uncomfortable moments a lot more comfortable.
Now we know why they call it the Mile High City, too, dearie.
Yeah.
It's a mile high in friendliness and hospitality, isn't it?
Good night.
Good night, all.
The first evaporated milk, Pet Milk, brings you Fibber, McGee, and Molly each week at this time. Be with us again next Tuesday night, won't you? Does your husband feel that you couldn't get along without him? If so, do you want him to keep on believing that, or do you think you should let him know that he isn't as indispensable as he thinks? Well, you'll hear one answer to that question in the Story of the Week on Pet Milk's Mary Lee Taylor program next Saturday morning. Be sure to listen. You'll also hear the Pet Milk recipe of the week for braised chicken with vegetables, an easy way to fix a delicious one-dish dinner. Remember next Saturday morning to be tuned to your NBC station for Pet Milk's Mary Lee Taylor.
Hear a special drama for Boys Club Week. It's Big Town, next on NBC.
Well, Silver, wait those thrilling days of yesteryear. Well, the Lone Ranger up next.
A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. In the early days of the western United States, the stagecoach lines were the only means of transportation. The drivers of the coaches were hardened to danger and equal to any emergency. But the local sheriffs were unable to give them the protection they needed. And it was not until the masked rider of the plains started his great fight for law and order that the trails became safe. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again. Come on, Silver! We're heading for Wolf Rock. Town is waiting on the trail ahead. Now, Silver, away! There was always a crowd on hand to greet old Barney Titus whenever he brought the ancient stagecoach he drove to the end of its run at Wolf Rock. Barney, in spite of the fact that he was employed by a line so small that it had only one coach in operation, was the most famous driver in the entire state. Some years earlier, an accident had robbed the old man of his sight. But to the surprise of everyone, blindness had not ended his usefulness. His two lead horses, Big Red and Dusty, knew the trail and understood their duties better than most humans. And with their aid, Barney had never missed a trip, nor been so much as 10 minutes off schedule. One day, as the old man reined in his team at the end of the run, the crowd around the office realized that something unusual had happened. Barney climbed down from the box with a speed that was amazing.
One side, folks. Let me get through, huh? Jane! Hi, Jane, you here?
Here I am, Barney.
Where's your paw?
I'll back in the stables, I think. Careful of the stairs.
Don't you worry about me, honey. I don't need to see to get around. You come on inside. Reckon I got news for you.
What?
Come on, Jane, inside the office with you.
Barney, what is it?
Look here at this letter I got in my hand.
What? Oh, it's from the governor.
Yep. Picked it up at Sandy Bend. Bet anything it's what you and your pa been waiting for. Open it up.
Hadn't I better let Pa?
Oh, he won't care. Go on, open it up. Thunderation, if I have to wait much longer to find out what it says, I'll go loco. Hurry up, honey, hurry up.
All right, Barney, I guess Pa won't mind. And if it isn't what we've been hoping for, then maybe I can break it to Pa easier than if he found it out first.
Read it, doggone it, and quit looking for the worst.
Oh, just a second. Oh, Barney!
Yeah.
We've got it. We've got it. Yippee! Oh, I can't hardly believe it.
I don't know why not.
But it means Pa won't have to sell.
Sure he won't. He can tell Thorpe to go jump in the river. Hey, let you and me go find your pa and tell him about this right away, eh?
Wait, someone's coming. Maybe it's him.
Oh. That you, boss?
No. Howdy, Barney.
It's you.
Howdy, miss.
Hello. What do you want here?
You sound mad.
Do I?
I ain't welcome, huh? Well, if you don't like me, 'tain't my fault. Don't know anything I've ever done to cause it. Anyhow, I just thought...
You come here to see Paul?
Sure. Any log in it?
What'd you want with him?
Oh, I thought maybe he might have changed his mind since the last time we talked. Say anything to him?
No.
Then I might
But
as
he
well...
didn't have to. Mr. Thorpe, you've done everything you could to force Pa to sell you our line.
Now, wait,
No, you listen to me. You've threatened him. You talked against him. You try to make people believe that we weren't giving good service. Well, once all that might have worked. You knew that if we lost any more business, we'd fail. But now it's different. Now we'll keep the line, and there's nothing you can do to get it away.
And if you think she's just bluffing, fella, it's 'cause you ain't seen what's in that letter there.
Letter?
From the governor.
We're going to get the contract to carry the United States mails from here to Sandy Bend. Just put that in your pipe and smoke it.
So that's it, huh?
Yes.
And you figure with that contract to bank on, your pa won't even think of selling, huh?
I know he won't.
Maybe you do, and maybe you don't. But as far as I'm concerned, what you say don't count. I'll have to have it straight from him.
Well, you...
Barney.
Yeah?
Don't start a quarrel. Just go get Pa. We'll let Pa tell him.
He'll tell him, all right. He'll tell him so hard it'll blister his hide. Where'd you say your pa was?
In the stables. At least that's where he said he was going. You'll find him somewhere out back, though.
I'll be back in a jiffy.
Mind if I sit down?
Wouldn't be worthwhile. I'll be leaving in a second.
You sure are unsociable.
Don't like you, and I won't pretend I do.
Shucks, miss. Why are you so dead set agin me?
I've already said.
Because I've been trying to buy your paw out?
No, because you've been trying to force him to sell out.
But, miss, that's just business.
Dirty business.
I tell
But we
you.
won't discuss it. I don't even want to talk to you.
Well, if that's the way you want it, nothing I can do, I reckon.
There isn't.
So I guess I might just as well... Hey, there comes Barney back again. Now, what's he in such a rush about?
What a...
You can see him through the window there. Doggone, he sure looks as if something had happened. Here he comes now.
Barney, what is it? What's the matter? Where's Paul?
Jane, honey.
Barney, something's wrong. What is it? Tell me.
I went out to the stables, Jane.
Yes?
I stumbled across something.
Oh.
Honey, your paw's been killed.
Who's there?
It's me, Throp. It's Hack. Open up the door and let me in.
You fool, get in here. I thought I told you not to come near my place till after dark.
I was careful, boss. Nobody's seen me.
What do you want?
The cash you promised me.
You'll get it all right. But first I aim to find out what happened. How'd you manage to drill Ross without nobody hearing the shot?
You recollect them waddies the marshal chased out of town?
What they got to do with it?
They had too much to drink. They was riding up and down, firing up into the air. That's when I done it. Nobody paid any attention because they figured it was just them drunks.
Oh. You're slicker than I thought you was, Hack.
I ain't no dummy.
Sure nobody noticed you hanging around the stables?
I kept back out of sight.
And nobody seen you come here?
Oh. What if they did, long as they don't know I done it?
They know I want to buy that stage line.
Yes, but
They can guess I'd figure it'd be a heap side easier to buy from the girl than from Ross himself.
But I
And
don't...
they know you drill your own brother for the price of a new pair of boots. When they start putting two and two together, I don't aim for them to have anything definite to go on.
They won't.
You bet they won't. You know why?
Huh?
You're taking this money, and you're getting so doggone far out of this part of the country, it'd take you a year to back trail.
Sure. I promised I would, didn't I?
Is it all there?
Uh-huh.
Then hit the trail.
Yeah.
And Hack.
Huh?
Don't come back till I say the word. Or
what, boss?
I'll fill you so full of lead 10 men couldn't carry you to Boot Hill. Now get.
I'm going. Adios.
So Ross was found murdered, and the killer escaped. Is that it, Tonto?
That's right.
We're going to look into this.
What we do?
Ross had only one enemy that I ever heard of.
Feller named Thorpe?
Right. He's had a man in his employ who's the most notorious gunman in the district.
Who's that?
Hack Burgess. Here, Silver. Call Scout Kemosabe. We're riding to town.
Here, Scout.
If we can find Hack, we may have the murderer. But if we can't find him, if he's in hiding, then I'll know he's the killer. Ready?
Me ready.
Then let's go. Come on, old fella.
Get him up, Scout.
Hurry, boy. Hurry.
I come to the cafe and said you wanted to see me, Jane. Is something wrong?
Sit down, Barney. The chair's right beside you. It's been almost a week now since Paul was killed.
Yeah. I was talking to the marshal. Like most everybody else, he'd like to lay his hands on that hombre, Hack Burgess. But the skunk can't be located.
I know.
But he will be one of these days. He can't stay hid forever. Don't you worry none.
That isn't what I wanted to talk about.
No? What's on your mind, honey?
The stage line.
What about it?
Thorpe was in this morning. He offered to buy again. I told him to come back this evening.
Hey, you ain't planning to sell now, are you?
Oh, Barney, I don't know what to do.
But the franchise for the mail.
Running a stage line isn't a woman's business.
Maybe not, but ain't I here to help you?
Of course, and I appreciate it. But you're in town only for a little while every other day between runs to Sandy Bend. It isn't enough.
Well,
And that isn't all.
Eh? What more is there?
If I don't sell, I'm afraid of what Thorpe might do. If Heck did murder my father, then we know Thorpe hired him to do it. He'll stop at nothing.
If that coyote tries to harm
I'm
you...
not worried about myself.
Then who are you?
You.
Me?
Yes.
Well, I'll be it. Now, Jane, you look here. Nobody needs to worry about me, none at all. Reckon I can take care of myself, all right?
Barney, please.
But doggone it all, Jane, you listen to me for a second.
Well,
Monday's the day we get the first shipment of mail to carry to Sandy Bend.
yes.
All we have to do is get that one shipment through on time, and the franchise is ours for good. We'll be all set. After that, your credit down to the bank will be ace high, and you can borrow enough cash to hire a dozen fellas for guards if you mind to. But if you go and sell out afore then,
But if you left here with a stage Monday,
Yeah?
and if Thorpe had made up his mind that the stage wouldn't get through... Oh, Barney, don't you understand? I can't bear to think that you might be killed just like Pa was. It isn't worth it. I won't have it.
Who is it, Janie? Who is it?
A friend.
Barney, he's masked.
What in time is
there, Barney? When I said I was a friend, I meant it.
What do you want?
To help you.
A masked man wanting to help us? What'd you take us for, mister?
I recall once, Barney, a long time ago, when you believed a masked man and an Indian were your friends.
What's that?
The day you were thrown from your stage. If it hadn't been for an Indian and a masked man, you might have lost not only your sight, but your life as well.
That voice.
They roped you and pulled you to safety when you'd have dropped into that canyon.
Stop.
Well?
What is it, Barney? What is it?
Jane.
Yes?
This masked man. This masked man's the Lone Ranger.
Please pause on the first act of our Lone Ranger drama. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments.
Now to continue our story. When the Lone Ranger had gained the confidence of Jane and Barney, he explained the purpose of his visit. I heard a part of what you said before I came in. You told Barney you wanted to sell because you were afraid for his life if you didn't.
True, I am.
You needn't be.
You think Mr. Thorpe isn't responsible for my father's murder?
I think he is.
Then how can you say Barney wouldn't be in danger?
Because if Thorpe is responsible, he didn't do the actual killing himself.
But
The man who might have done it has left the district. I know that for sure because Tonto and I found his trail. And Tonto's following that trail right now.
Tonto will capture him.
He'll try.
It's the best news I've heard in the Coon's Edge.
But the point I'm making is simply this. Thorpe hasn't the personal courage for murder. He might hire another to kill for him, yes. But he'd never try his own hand at it. I know the man.
Yes, but...
It's so, Jane. I never thought of it before, but it's so. The skunk's too yellow.
Then you think he won't make more trouble?
I didn't say that. Perhaps he will. But I'm certain that he won't kill.
If I could only believe that.
Why can't you, huh? Ain't the masked man told you it's so? You doubting him?
Take my advice. Don't sell.
Don't, honey. Promise you won't.
Very well.
Good for you.
Thorpe will be here before long. I'll tell him I've changed my mind.
That's your last word? You thought it over, have you? You going to stick by that?
I am?
You'll be sorry, young lady.
Hey, you threatening Miss Jane?
Nothing of the sort.
And what do you mean by what you just said?
Just this. When a girl that don't savvy business teams up with a stoving hombre that can't even see, it's asking for trouble. When you ask for trouble, you usually get it. Good night.
No good, Sidewinder.
Barney, I'm afraid.
You don't know why you should be.
He was threatening us. I know he was.
Maybe.
That's why.
Now, you hush. He don't know the masked man's on our side. Maybe that's just what'll trip him.
I hope so.
Honey, Monday morning, bright and early, I'm picking up a couple of sacks of Uncle Sam's mail. And before sundown, that same mail is going to be in Sandy Bend. And you're going to have yourself a brand new franchise. Now, quit your fretting and leave your troubles to me and the masked man.
What's the stage leaving so early for today?
Ain't you heard? Barney's got to be at Sandy Bend before sundown.
If he ain't, Miss Jane don't get that mail franchise.
Barney ain't taking no chance.
Hi, there's Barney now.
Well, June, this is it. Mail's all loaded on the stage. Horses all hitched and Big Red and Dusty pulling lead raring to go. You watch us make dust.
Oh, I wish I could go along.
You stay here and tend to the office. No need to worry about me.
You'll be careful.
Sure thing.
And you will reach Sandy Bend before sundown?
Jane,
Yes, Barney.
I got my first job with your pa before you was born. I was the first fella here in town to say hello to your ma when your pa got hitched and brung her here. I worked for the both of them a good many years. If they was alive today to say so, I'd tell you I never let 'em down.
I know, Barney. I know.
Well, I ain't gonna let you down any more than I would of them. That's something you can try to. Hey, what's this?
Oh, there. Oh, boy. Oh, there. Well, all set to pull out, Barney?
Any business of yours?
Oh, I was just asking. You're set to hang on to this two-bit stage line of yours, eh, miss?
You had my answer before.
Well, I thought I'd ask again anyhow. Good luck to you, Barney. Get up there! Get up! Get up there!
Jane, just what was making that Curtis so good-natured all of a sudden? Any idea?
He acted as if
As if he had some particular sneaking scheme up his sleeve. Yeah. Well, if he has, it ain't going to work. I'll take care of that. Well, honey, reckon it's time I was on my way. Tomorrow evening,
Yes.
you keep watch and you'll see me coming back with banners waving. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Barney. Goodbye.
One side, folks. Get up there. Get up, Red. Come on there, Dusty. Get up. Get up there. Get along with you. You top the rise, you critters. 2 more hours and we'll be to the forks. Get along with you. Get up there. On halfway there. Straight ahead now till we turn for the river. Get along. Get along there. Get up. Get up there.
Quiet there. Quiet, blast you. Steady. There's the stage. All right. Get up. Get up there. Get up. Hey! Hold on! Hold up there! Rein up, you idiot! Rein up! There's trouble ahead!
Trouble? Yeah? Oh, there. Oh, Dusty. Oh, Red. Oh. What did you say was wrong, mister? What did you... Who are you?
Reckon you can make a mighty close guess.
Thorpe.
Yeah.
Why, you... Get out of my way. Get up there.
Just
Get
hold
up.
on.
What the...
You ain't going no place.
Eh?
Try it and I'll slap you off that seat.
You holding me up?
Nope.
Then what in
Just
time...
borrowing your horses is all. I got a use for 'em.
You're gonna do what?
You heard what I said. I'm unhitching these here horses.
But if you do that, the stage can't get to town.
Yeah? You don't say.
You can be jailed for a stunt like this, Thorpe.
If you can prove anything.
Well,
Which
you...
same you can't. So quit your hollering and follow orders.
Silver, old fella, the stage got this far without any trouble. Maybe there wasn't danger. Perhaps we've been wasting our time following along. We'll soon be inside of the river. The trail turns there and heads straight downstream for Sandy Bend. And that... What the... Silver, the stage! Come on, old fellow. Come on! Come on, Silver! Come on, boy! Barney! Hello there, Barney! Hurry, Silver, hurry!
If you're one of God's crooks, mister, you just better keep going.
Oh there, Silver. Oh there. Oh.
Silver, you're the masked man.
Right. Barney, what's happened
What's
here?
happened? Well, that low-down sneaking coyote of a Thorpe took my horses, that's what happened. Held me up and stole them. Look at me. Town ain't more than 5 miles away. And for all the good it'll do me, it might as well be 500. Got to get there by sundown and can't. Friend, I'm sunk. And worse, so's Miss Jane.
Will you throw the mail across my saddle?
It wouldn't do no good. Agreement was the mail and the stage had to reach Sandy Bend on schedule. If we don't get no franchise.
There's no ranch nearby.
Don't I know it?
There were. We could borrow horses.
No use wishing for what we know we can't have. We're licked, that's all.
I wonder... The river's about 200 yards. It's a downhill roll.
Say, masked man, what in thunderation you got in mind?
Barney, lend me a hand. It may look it, but we're not beaten yet.
Howdy.
Hey? Oh, how do you do?
You don't know me, mister, but my name's Thorpe. You're Swanson, ain't you?
That's right.
Government man?
I am.
Waiting for the stage to get here, huh?
Well, I have been. But if it doesn't reach town pretty soon, it won't matter.
Can't give a franchise to a stage land that can't keep on schedule, huh?
Exactly.
I see. Well, you should have known better in the first place than to put any trust in an outfit run by a girl. Well, I was just wondering about something, and I figured you was a fella to ask.
Yes?
Of course, if the stage don't get here in time, you can't give that Ross girl no franchise. But suppose somebody else was to buy that line. Figure you could do business with them?
I'm not sure I understand.
All right, I'll lay my cards out on the table. Suppose I bought that line. I'd have a chance to carry the mails for the government like they have, wouldn't I?
I don't see why not.
Fine. Now, how much longer they got before they lost out?
What time is it?
Just a second. Right now, it's just 25 minutes past 7.
The stage was due at 7. I was perfectly willing to give them a half hour's leeway, but if it isn't here in 5 minutes...
They won't get it?
Just so.
Then I reckon you and me, mister, can start talking terms right now. You can lay 10 to 1. By this time tomorrow, that line will be mine.
Floating down the river.
What the...
Can't be a boat, can it? Ain't got the... Well, by thunderation, it's the stage. They unhitched the horses and lashed logs to it. Look at it come up floating. It stopped. It pushed into the bank. Come on, fellers.
How in thunder can that be?
It can't be the stage. It just can't be.
Can't be, but it is.
There's a masked man. He's jumped ashore with Barney.
Thorpe, your trick didn't work.
You let go of me. What trick? I don't know what you're talking about. Let go.
Stand still.
We got the mail and the stage both here, Mr. Swanson. You can't say we didn't neither.
Why? It ain't legal. Who ever heard of a stage floating down a river? It don't count. You can't do
Don't
that.
matter how we got here, just so we did. Ain't that so, Mr. Swanson? Ain't it?
This is certainly unusual.
But you can't deny what Barney said. There's the stage. The mail's there. It arrived here on time. It fulfilled the provisions of your contract.
I should smile, it did.
I'm inclined to think it did.
Hey, you can't do that. You
Quiet.
can't.
Quiet, I said. Swanson, if it hadn't been for this man, the stage would have had no trouble at all getting here. He stopped it and stole the horses.
You can't prove that.
Perhaps not.
Then you be careful what you say. You hear me?
I said perhaps I can't prove you're a horse thief. But I've got an idea there's something I can prove.
Huh?
And that's murder.
Tonto! This way, Tonto!
Get him up, Scout. Get him up.
There's a redskin. Who's that he's got across the saddle?
Hack!
And if I'm not mistaken, Thorpe, he's going to talk.
Oh, Scout. Oh, fella. Oh, Scout. Oh, you get down.
Leave me be, Injun. I'll talk. I promised I would. There's the skunk that hired me to shoot Ross. He's the one. I ain't gonna hang alone. He's just as guilty as I am.
You dirty squealer!
Well, you won't get me. Oh, my hand!
You're not hurt.
Tonto, you cut him. You did one swell job.
Him plenty coward. Him talk easy.
Tonto has a way of making men talk who think they'd prefer to keep silent.
Well, he caught a killer, and you saved us the franchise, masked man. Between the two of you, I reckon you done a job to remember.
The story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated.
Hunt the biggest of all game with the Green Hornet and Cato coming up next.
The Green Hornet. He hunts the biggest of all game, public enemies who try to destroy our America. With his faithful valet Cato, Britt Reed, daring young publisher, matches wits with the underworld, risking his life that criminals and racketeers within the law may feel its weight by the sting of the Green Hornet. Ride with Britt Reed in the thrilling adventure, Classified Ad. The Green Hornet strikes again. Michael Axford sat in Lenore Case's office looking over the headlines in the Daily Sentinel, while Miss Case looked through the classified section.
Say, now, Casey, there's sure plenty going on these days, what with strikes and shortages and all. It's discouraging to pick up a newspaper.
Uh-huh.
And there's them countries over there yapping at each other like the war wasn't over yet. 'Tis hard to say what we're coming to, ain't it so?
Uh-huh.
Sure, and right here in the Sentinel it says... Casey, you haven't been listening to a word I've been saying.
What did you say, Axford?
I said you haven't been listening to a word I was saying. Have you now?
What were you saying, Michael?
I was saying... what's the use? Hey, what are you so interested in anyway?
Well, the classified ads.
Well, I know that. Think I can't see? What are you looking through the classified ads for?
Oh, Axford. Axford, what makes you so nosy?
Oh, a secret, huh? Okay. If that's the way you feel about it.
All right. Now sulk like a little kid. As a matter of fact, there's no secret about it. I have no reason for looking through the classified ads, and I'm very much interested in reading about the things people want and have to sell. Now, does that satisfy you, Axford?
Oh, I thought maybe you were hunting for a job or something, that's all. I was worried.
Oh, Michael, I'm sorry I was sharp with you. You were actually worrying for fear I was hunting for another job.
Well, not exactly, Casey. You see, I was worried for fear you wouldn't find one.
Mike Axford, Yes, Mr. Reed.
Will you come in a minute, Miss Case?
Yes, sir, right away.
Suffering snakes, Casey. I didn't know Reed was in his office. Why didn't you tell me?
Listen, Axford, when you come in and plunk yourself down and start reading the paper, it isn't up to me to warn you that Mr. Reed's in his office.
Huh. You were sitting there reading the paper, weren't you?
So what?
Well, if you can sit around reading the Sentinel, so can I. And why not, I'd like to know.
I was told to check the classified by Mr. Reed, if you want to know. I'm going in. Mr. Reed will want to know why you didn't report to him when you came in. You'd better think up a good one, Michael.
Did I hear Axford out there in your office, Miss Case?
Yes, sir. He's dying to know why I've been going through the classified ads.
He'll soon have his curiosity satisfied. Oh, did you find anything?
Yes, I checked one ad there that might be the one we're looking for.
All right. Tell Axford to come in, will you?
Yes, sir. Oh, Axford, Mr. Reed wants to see you.
Okay, Casey. I've been waiting outside, Reed. I knew you'd be wanting to see me about something.
Oh, that's a hot one.
Now, Casey, when I say I've been waiting outside...
Axford, and sit down.
Sure, Reed, sure.
Axford,
Here in my desk, I have 3 letters from recently discharged soldiers. They all read about alike. Well, this is one typical. Read it.
Okay, read. To the editor of the Daily Sentinel. Dear Sir, in answer to an ad in your paper, I bought an engagement ring that was advertised by a private party. I paid $75 for it and have since found out that it's not a diamond ring as I thought. The police say there's nothing can be done about it, since the person who sold it to me didn't say it was a diamond. So I've been gypped in a racket the police can't touch. I'm surprised that a newspaper like yours would carry ads like that. Signed, an ex-GI. Huh. It makes me sort of think about it, that it does.
I know how you feel, Axford. The other 2 letters are about the same racket.
Say, do you mean to tell me the classified ad manager lets things like that go into the Sentinel?
You have no way of knowing it wasn't legitimate, Axford. But we'll certainly see to it that the ads take it out right away.
Let me see that ad, Casey.
Well, here it is. It's checked off right here.
For quick sale by private party. Beautiful engagement ring in solid gold mounting. Must sell. Apartment 2, 420 Green Street. You mean to say they sold 3 of them rings and they're all phony?
Well, that's what these letters say, Axford. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot more than 3 have been sold.
It's a racket that should be stopped somehow.
Have them take out that ad, Miss Case.
Yes, sir.
Of course, the crooks will put ads like that in other papers, too. But at least we'll keep it out of the Sentinel.
Ain't there anything can be done to him, Reed?
Well, friend, I can't say. Why don't you go to that address and see what you can find out, Axford?
Sure, that's just the thing. I'd go today.
And don't act belligerent. Pretend you want to buy a ring.
Huh. I never acted like that in me life. Or have I?
Mr. Reed means don't lose your temper, Axford.
Oh, that. Sure, I know what you meant, all right. I'll get over there and see what you...
Chief, things are sure popping on that political investigation.
Really, Gunnigan? What now?
Now, see here, Gunnigan. I was just in the middle of an important talk with Reed when you come busting in, yapping about stuff that don't matter. Why don't you knock on the door?
Stuff that don't matter. Mike, are you nutty? That investigation is front-page stuff. Has been all week.
Yes, that's right. What's the latest news on it?
Well, Lewis Niles has resigned as chief investigator. What? He says there's no sense in going on with it. There's not enough evidence to indict those 2 legislators for graft.
Niles resigned? You mean he really made a statement like that?
Absolutely. The whole thing will fall through now.
But he intimated in the beginning that he had plenty of evidence.
Well, if you ask me, Mr. Reed, I wouldn't trust Niles around the corner.
I agree with you, Miss Case.
Maybe Niles has been bribed to drop the investigation.
I wish we could prove that.
What slant do you want the Sentinel to take?
I'll let you know, Gunnigan.
All right, I'll be at my desk.
The way he busts right in, you'd think the Niles case was more important than this racket and phony engagement rings.
Maybe it is.
Huh? But look here, Reed, that Niles
Go to that
case...
address on Green Street, Axford. See what you can find out.
That I will, by golly. And if it's a racket, I'm the right guy to pick to go and smash it. I'll keep in touch with you. Apartment 2. Yeah, this must be it.
Well, what is it, mister?
Oh, hello, miss. I came to, well, you know, to ask about...
Oh, yes. About the engagement ring.
Yeah, sure. That's right, the engagement ring.
Well, do come in, Mr.
Axford, that's my name, miss. Mike Axford.
I'm Miss Revere. Come in, Mr. Axford. You saw the ad, of course.
Well, sure. How else do you think I... sure, Mr. Revere.
Well, I'll get the ring. I hate to part with it.
Do you mean to tell me I'm the first to answer your ad?
No, others have come about it. Well, they didn't want to pay cash. You can pay cash, I suppose, if you take it.
Well, I got $1. Sure, of course, if I take it.
Well, wait just a moment. I'll get it for you.
Nice-looking dame to be mixed up in a racket like this.
Here it is, Mr. Axford.
Oh, let me see it, if you don't mind.
Certainly. Here you are.
Not bad looking at all. Do you guarantee it to be genuine?
Mr. Axford, believe me,
There's a solid gold setting, and, well, you know how diamonds have gone up in price.
What's the price of this ring? What are you asking for it?
Well, I value it highly for sentimental reasons, but, well, I'll part with it for as little as $75 in cash, Mr. Axford.
Of course, you haven't said this is a real diamond.
Why, Mr. Axford, I'm sure a man of your intelligence is able to judge the value of this ring for yourself. Of course, if you don't want the ring at that price, I'm sure someone will.
You still haven't said that stone's a real diamond, young lady. Now stop beating around the bush and tell me...
Listen, wise guy. If you don't want that ring, give it to me. I don't want your money anyway.
No, but you'll grab the door from the next bush hat that comes along. Is that it? I'm wise to your racket, girlie, and I'll tell you what you... Hey, what's the idea of sneaking into the room behind me like that? Who are you?
What's the two of you? Get back that ring.
Sure, why not? I don't want it anyhow. Here.
Take it, Stell.
Give it to me, you bugling beagle hound.
Insult me if you like, but at least I found out you're running a racket.
So we're running a racket. What of it? Go on. Go to the cops. See what good it'll do. We know all the angles that keep us within the law.
You're just a couple of dirty crooks, that's what you are.
Listen, you overgrown baboon, I'll take you...
Easy, Tom, easy. Don't lose your temper. Let him get on out of here.
Okay. Go on, beat it, you. Come snooping around here again, you might be sorry.
Oh, a tough guy, eh? Well, they don't come too tough for me, see?
Run along home, you bother me. Beat it.
First, I'm going to tell you this. Maybe you can get around the cops with your racket, but you'll slip up someday, that you will. Now I'll be on my way.
You'd better before Tom loses his temper and let you have it.
I've got a bit of temper myself. 'Tis a good thing I know when to keep me temper and when to lose it. Right now, I've decided to keep it. But if we meet again, watch out. Good day to you.
That boy was trying to play Sherlock Holmes, but he's too much of a dope to trick little Stell. Right, Tom?
Yeah. We got a sweet racket, baby. One even the law can't touch as long as we're careful. And this city's full of suckers who'll come to buy those rings. What a racket.
Axford returned to the Sentinel building and reported what had happened. Then he went to police headquarters for news. At dusk, Britt Reed left his office and went to his apartment, where he discussed the day's news with Cato, his Filipino valet.
Cato, there are two situations which bother me a great deal.
Well, yes, Mr. Britt?
One is a racket within the law. Crooks are selling engagement rings, fake stones in gold settings for which they get $75. They've had an ad in the Sentinel, but we've discontinued that.
Why people buy rings if they're not of value?
Complaints came in from some GIs who had bought the rings in good faith. They took it for granted that they were getting a diamond ring.
But if they tell police...
The police can do nothing, because the crooks are very careful not to say the stone is a diamond. Though they do mention the gold setting, and the setting is gold. That would bring very little on the market. Axford went there today and found out just how they worked it. They stay just within the law. We've got to find some way to get at them.
We'll continue our Green Hornet adventure in just a moment. Britt Reed told Cato about the engagement ring racket and expressed his concern about the fact that the crooks were able to stay within the law. He came to the decision that something would have to be done to catch the racketeers. Cato, recalling that Britt had mentioned another situation which bothered him, thought a moment, then asked,
What other situation bother you, Mr. Britt?
The resignation of Lewis Niles and that political mess. You see, I'm positive Niles had plenty of evidence against Richland and that other state senator. But now Niles says he has none, and the case will fall through. I'd certainly like to have a look in Niles' safe at his home. I bet it would prove interesting.
Well, maybe it's possible.
No, I know what you're thinking. But I happen to know that Niles, with his wealth and power, has stymied every attempt to get inside his place. He has the electric eye type of burglar alarm around his house.
Oh, that type of hidden eye is very difficult to detect so as to put out of order.
Yes. Anyone passing into the house by any means causes an alarm to ring at police headquarters.
But maybe a Green Hornet find way to get in.
No, Cato. Even if I did get in by the alarm, it would be too risky for me to go there.
Well, I not understand.
Cato, Lewis Niles knows me very well, and he's a man who remembers little details. He might recognize me even as the Hornet.
Oh. Then Niles plenty safe from all crooks with device like that. They not take chance.
That's right. Cato, you've given me an idea. An idea that may result in the downfall of the ring racketeers and of Lewis Niles. Now listen carefully.
Britt Reed outlined the plan he had in mind to Cato. He went into detail and was pleased to see that Cato gave the idea his approval.
I really think plan will work, Mr. Britt.
I think so, too. That racket must be broken. And Niles must be shown up for what I suspect he really is. And the sooner both things are accomplished, the better.
Will you put plan into effect tonight, Mr. Britt?
Yes. There's no time like the present. Let's get going, Cato, right now.
Stepping through a secret panel in the rear of the closet in the bedroom, Britt Reed and Cato went along a narrow passageway built within the walls of the apartment itself. This passage led to an adjoining building, which fronted on a dark side street. Though supposedly abandoned, this building served as the hiding place for the sleek, superpowered Black Beauty, streamlined car of the Green Hornet. Britt Reed pressed a button. The great car roared into life. A section of the wall in front raised automatically, then closed as the gleaming Black Beauty sped into the darkness.
We and Ellie right in back of place now, Mr. Britt.
Yes. And the apartment we're looking for is dark. They must be out.
Well, that better for our plan.
Yes. You can wait out here for me. But first, I want to write something.
What's that you take from wallet?
It's a blank press card. I'm going to predate it and fill in a certain name. Ah, there. Now, keep your eyes open. I won't be long. Success, Cato. I got what I went after.
Where we go now?
First, we'll drive along the river so I can dispose of this package. Then return to our apartment and wait for results. Get going, Cato.
That sure was a good picture, wasn't it?
Yeah, but Joe slept through most of it. You ought to stay home to do his sleeping.
Oh, yeah? I always sleep better in the movies, Tom. I guess it must be because... Hey, somebody's been at the desk drawer where we keep the rings.
Tom, look.
All the rings are gone.
Well, I'll be... Some dirty crook must have come in here.
Tom.
What's the matter, Stella?
Look. Stuck there on the desk.
Holy mackerel.
The seal of the Green Hornet.
What would he want with our stuff?
Don't be a dope. We can't get any more of those rings, so, well, maybe he wants to get into the racket and get us out.
I tell him just what he does.
Hey, what's this?
What'd you find, Tom?
Looks like some kind of a card.
It is a card, isn't it? Hey, this is more than that. It's a trump card.
What do you mean?
Why the happy look, Tom?
Listen, that racket of ours was small potatoes compared to what this card means to us.
Well?
Look, the Hornet must have dropped this card when he came in after the rings. I always knew he was a guy with a lot of money. And I've been sure that he was somebody of prominence.
So what?
So now I know who the Green Hornet really is.
What?
You do?
Yeah. He's the one who stole our stock of rings. But we're going to go one better. We're going to hunt him down right in his own place. Get the proof against him and turn him over for the reward. This is going to be our big night. Come on.
You sure this is the place, Tom?
Positive, Stell.
Hey, Tom. We're taking an awful chance going in after that Hornet. He's mean, plenty smart.
Joe, he's not so smart or he wouldn't have dropped that card. And we'll be taking him by surprise, remember that. He'll be without his disguise, so he won't expect us to be suspicious even when we come face to face.
Well, I've got my automatic ready.
So have I. Still, you stay here in the car in front of the place. It's too risky for you.
Okay, if you say so, Tom.
All right, Joe.
Right with you, Tom.
Now for this showdown. Come on. We'll give that Green Hornet the surprise of his life.
Meantime, Lewis Niles, influential politician, put some papers in his wall safe. He was just about to close the safe when...
Don't move, Niles.
What? How did you get in here?
Very easy. Your door locks are not very strong. Now get away from that safe.
Now, listen here, both of you.
Get away, he said.
All right.
That's better. Joe, take everything out of that safe.
Okay, that'll be easy.
So you came to rob me, huh? Or were you sent here for some particular purpose by certain parties?
Niles, we came here for a purpose, all right. No one sent us here. But you yourself made a slip that brought us.
What are you talking about?
Well, perhaps you don't know that we're the ones you robbed a while ago, huh?
Are you crazy? I'm out of this house tonight.
No? Bring all the stuff over here to the table, Joe.
Okay, I got it all.
It's really a shame to see you go into all that trouble.
Here's all that was in the safe.
Where's the mask? And the rest of your disguise? Hornet?
I beg your pardon.
Don't bluff. You heard me. We know you're the Green Hornet.
That's the best story I've heard yet. I've been accused of lots of things, but that's the one that takes the cake.
Think you're smart, don't you? Trying to bluff out of it all.
Keep a gun on him, Joe, while I go through the stuff in the safe.
Right.
The rings he stole from us aren't here. Neither is any of his Hornet stuff. But believe me, Joe, this other stuff is plenty hot.
Yeah? What is it?
Evidence Niles said you didn't have for that investigation, for one thing. And for another, here's some certificates of stock showing a recent transfer of steel stock holdings from Richland's name to Niles. He bought you off, eh, Niles?
This is going far enough.
Hey, there's a lot of cash, Tom. That'd pay for the rings he took from us.
Good idea. We'll take that cash.
You crook.
Yep, all of us together. And you the biggest of all. Lewis Niles, big politician, and at the same time none other than the Green Hornet. We'll get a big reward for this.
Your joke about the Hornet isn't funny.
Yeah, maybe not, but we think it is.
You may not know it, but the police are pulling up outside. They've come for you.
Hey, Tom, maybe we'll...
Calm down, Joe. We'll be heroes. Niles, when you stole those rings tonight, you left the Hornet seal. But you also left something else by mistake. This card. A special press card with your name printed on it.
I never had such a card. Your mistake was coming in here. You automatically set off an alarm at police headquarters when you crossed the hidden electric eyes which surround this house.
What's happened?
Hey, get in there, you.
Take it easy, cop.
Officer, these two men broke in here and tried to rob me. You can see they have guns.
Well, with the cops here, we'll put them away.
What's this all about? Hey, there's something funny going on here, seems to me. Anyway, hey, Sarge, that girl and that guy there, they're on a racket.
Oh, it's you again, eh, Fatso?
Quiet. Now you, speak up.
Officer, this man known as Lewis Niles is really the Green Hornet.
Quiet! Now, what makes you think that?
Well, he stole something from us and left a Hornet seal. And also, he dropped this card with his real name on it.
Now, hold on. This must be a frame-up. The police sent these men here purposely to see what's in my safe. I demand that you do something.
Calm down, Niles. As a matter of fact, I'll take these two guys and the woman in for attempted robbery and for carrying guns.
That one has my money in his pocket.
So much the better. They'll all get good stiff sentences. Take them away, boys.
Now, wait, he's the Hornet, I tell you. And what's more, the evidence against Richland that Niles swore he didn't have is right there on the table. There's evidence to show that Niles was bought off by Richland, too.
That's personal property. Don't touch it.
I'm the reporter. I'll take a chance of looking it over. Sarge, the guy's right. This stuff is enough to indict Niles.
You can't do this. It's all a put-up job.
I still think he's the Hornet.
Hey! There goes the Green Hornet now. Then Niles couldn't be him. But he is coming down and explain all that stuff you found on that table there, Axel. What about those crooks? The charges will stand. Anyhow, they have no business carrying guns.
Take them away, boys. All of them.
Later in the Sentinel City room,
Heavens to Betsy, Chief, we got a doubleheader tonight. Those racketeers being picked up as crooks, and Niles being held for the grand jury.
I can't understand how it all came about so quickly. Can you, Axford?
Sure. It's as plain as the nose in your face, Reed.
How's that, Axford?
Yeah? What's your version?
Justice. The Hornet was in with Niles and also in with the racketeers. He got sore at all of them, so he sicked the one on the other, and they showed each other up. Simple, ain't it?
The biggest mix-up of the year, still unexplained, and he calls it simple.
Unexplained, me eye. Niles squealed all over the place about what he did, and the racketeers came clean with what they did. So, to me, it's simple. To you, phooey.
That's Gillespie, Fibber, Diamond Racket broken, Niles indicted, Green Hornet implicated. Read all about it. Green Hornet still at large. That's Gillespie, Fibber.
These popular radio dramas, created by George W. Trendle, are a copyrighted feature of the Green Hornet, Incorporated. All characters, names, places, and incidents used are fictitious.
Crime doesn't stand a chance against Dick Tracy. Up next.
And now, Dick Tracy! This is Dick Tracy on the case of the Honorable Mr. Malice. Stand by for action. Let's go, men. Yes, it's Dick Tracy, protector of law and order. Did you Tracy fans ever happen to wonder what laws our country lived under during the Revolutionary War? From your history, you'll remember that the Declaration of Independence was signed in 1776, but it wasn't until 1787, 11 years later, that our present Constitution was ratified. But what was done in the years in between? Well, actually, soon after the colonists declared that they were independent of all foreign rule, a committee began work on a constitution. They called it the Articles of Confederation. Well, a little over a year after the signing of the Declaration of Independence on November 15th, 1777, exactly 170 years ago tomorrow, these Articles of Confederation were submitted to the states for ratification. This was our first Constitution. But very wisely, our nation's first leaders decided to improve on that first body of laws. They believed that those laws wouldn't stand the test of time. So, using the Articles of Confederation as a base, they wrote a new Constitution, the one we're living under today. But remember, the success of our present Constitution is due in a large extent to the Articles of Confederation, the anniversary of whose adoption will be observed tomorrow. Now, Dick Tracy. Dick Tracy and Pat Patton, in a hasty trip to the state capitol, have unearthed the first important link in the chain of evidence that they hope will send the Honorable Benton Malice to the electric chair. This accomplished, they made plans to return to Northern Valley aboard the Super Streamer, a train which is also carrying the noted South American statesman, Dr. Trabajo Polapas. It is this latter fact that has aroused the interest of the Honorable Benton Malice as he broods in the secret tower room of his castle overlooking Northern Valley.
Crowley, has it occurred to you what a blow to international cooperation it would be if something were to happen to that South American peacemonger, Dr. Trabajo Polapas?
It has indeed, sir.
Let's see now. He'll be on the Super Streamer, which is due to enter Northern Valley at 9:43 tonight. It is now 7:22.
That doesn't leave us too much time, sir. I guess I'd better get ready to leave.
You're not going anywhere, Crowley.
I'm not, sir?
No. This is to be my party.
But, sir, I thought that...
Yes, Crowley? You thought what?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm afraid I forgot myself.
I'm afraid you did. In fact, you've been increasingly impertinent lately, venturing your opinion on the slightest provocation.
I shall try to watch myself, sir.
You should. Of what possible interest to me is the opinion of a common servant?
None at all, sir.
All right, now, listen closely. I told you I was going to punish you for your last failure. And part of that punishment is not to allow you to be present at one of the greatest railroad wrecks of all time.
A hard punishment, sir. But completely justified.
Of course. I'm nothing if not just. Now, Crawley, according to this timetable, the West Junction local should be heading up the valley at about the same time that the super steamer is heading south.
But that's another passenger train, sir.
I'm aware of that. Any objections?
None at all, sir. I was just thinking that the slaughter will be terrific when the super steamer plows head-on into that string of dilapidated old cars that they still use in the local service.
Yes, but slaughter of whom, Crawley? You know what kind of people are always packed into the West Branch local.
That's true, sir. I had forgotten.
Well, I hadn't. I'd be doing Northern Valley a distinct service to wipe out the whole lot of them.
Yes, sir.
Ordinary people are like sheep, Crawley. Somebody always has to lead them. They're completely helpless when they try to think for themselves.
Yes, sir.
They'll think a little more clearly when they wake up in the morning and discover that hundreds of so-called Americans died in the same wreck with the esteemed Dr. Trabajo Parnapas. Well, we have work to do. Important work.
Yes, sir.
As I said, I'm going to do this alone. The generator and the rest of the equipment has been transferred to the station wagon.
But mightn't you be recognized in it, sir?
I'll smear the license plates with mud. Anyone gets too nosy, I'll shoot first and investigate later.
Good, sir.
And now we come to your part in this plan.
My part, sir?
Yes, I want you to stay in this tower room till the wreck has been accomplished. Don't leave it for any reason whatsoever.
I won't, sir.
Bring the big telescope up here. Keep a steady watch on the valley. If by any chance the local is late, contact me by radio. Let me know that the wreck cannot be arranged.
I shall, sir.
Under no other conditions, use the radio. I have a feeling that others have been listening in on our wavelengths.
Yes, sir.
I'll be listening on the small handset. If I hear no message, I'll assume that the local's on time and the plans can be carried out.
I see, sir.
If the local's late, send the single word no. I will verify receipt of your message by simply saying check. How's that clear?
Quite, sir.
And remember, it's of the utmost importance that you stay here in this tower room. Your further punishment will depend on the success which we meet with in tonight's inspection.
Well, Pat, how do you like it?
When the railroad gave us permission to ride the locomotive of the super steamer, I was delirious with joy. Now I'm just delirious.
What's the matter, Pat? I thought you enjoyed the ride we had in the freight locomotive.
I did, but I keep thinking what happened to it. I also thought that train was going fast, but it was going in reverse alongside this one. I keep expecting us to take off like a guided missile.
Oh, Patrick, you're getting soft. According to that speedometer, we're only going 110.
Only, he says.
You've gone that fast in the police car many a time.
Sure, but you can stop a police car in something less than a mile. And you can also steer it away from danger. At least some drivers can keep a car from rolling down every railroad embankment they come to.
Now, don't get bitter, Pat. I only went through the fence to see if you could take it.
The only thing that bothers me is how long can I keep on taking it?
That's the first sign of old age.
Richard, you're talking through your hat. I just want to live long enough to arrive at old age. Barreling down the tracks at 110 in something you can't turn to right or left, and you can't stop in less than a mile, doesn't seem like the best way to do it.
Well, at least you can be thankful that this isn't a freight train. The honorable gentleman down in Northern Valley has so far left passenger trains alone.
Well, I still don't like it. There isn't the friendly, easygoing spirit that there was on the freight train.
They don't pick engineers for these super speed jobs just for their conversational abilities.
No, I can believe that. I don't even think this one knows how to talk.
You just talked to him about the wrong subject, Pat. Watch. Say, could I ask you a question?
Yep.
Those colored lights you have in that panel in front of you. There seems to be more than in the last train I rode on.
Yep.
Do they give you information on more signal blocks ahead than the average train?
Yep.
Well, how many sections ahead does it give you information on?
4.
Instead of the regular 2. Is that because this train goes so fast it takes longer to stop it?
Yep.
Well, thanks a lot. That was very interesting.
It is to me. I hope I didn't bore you.
Bore us?
Yep. I get enthusiastic sometimes. I don't know when to stop talking.
Oh, well, Pat here has the same trouble, Mr. What did you say your name was?
Real name's too long. Just call me Gabby, like everyone else does. Gabby, indeed. There isn't a straight man in the house. Huh? Nothing at all. When you got nothing to say, don't say it. Good philosophy, Sonny.
I guess that should hold you for a while, Pat.
Yep.
I've said the same thing to you many a time. Only not nearly so neatly.
You're all just picking on me because I have a broken arm. If I had the use of my good left arm, I'd show that Gabby character a thing or two about philosophy.
Of that I have no doubt. But it's just as well you can, considering there are several hundred passengers dependent on this Gabby character to get them to their destinations in safety. So relax, Pat, and think of the fun we're going to have when we get back to Northern Valley.
Hello? Oh, hello, Don. Oh, your mother said she didn't think you should keep Ginger. But why not? She's a swell little dog. Oh, I see. She howls and whines when you put her in the cellar. Well, she's lonely. Look, keep her in your room tonight, and I'll come down and see about her in the morning. Maybe I can find her another home. Okay, Don. Good night.
Of course she's lonely. She'd never slept anywhere but in my room since she was a little puppy. Well, I'm lonesome, too. Don't even want to go back to my room just yet. Not just yet. Gee, it's quiet. Uncle Benton isn't here. Nobody seems to be home at all. Never realized how lonely Mallon's house could be when Ginger was here. I know. I'll go out on the parapet and look down at Stanley's house through the telescope. I can probably just make out the light in his window. Let's see now. Gee, that's funny. Where's the telescope? It used to be right here, but what's this little thing? Sort of like a light socket, but different. Little wire running along the transmitter. I'll bet it goes to the transmitter. Nobody home now. Got to try and find the transmitter. Wire goes along here. Up these stone steps. The tower room. I'll bet it's in the tower room. But that's always locked. No harm in... There's a light showing under the door. In fact, the door's standing a little open. Knock first. I guess nobody's inside. Well, here it goes. Nobody here. And there's the transmitter right over there. And there's the telescope train right down on the railroad tracks. Get some evidence and get out of here. Got to hurry. What are all these clippings and papers? All about the railroad wrecks and the United Nations. Oh, this is proof. The best kind of proof. What's that?
Who's there?
It's only I, Master Stephen. Did you find anything interesting? In a moment, we'll return to Dick Tracy. But first, the Northwest Mounted Police. Just 4 words, but words that immediately bring to mind the wonderful sagas of adventure that thrill all of us. And it's with Sergeant Preston, typical of these heroes who always get their man, that Challenge of the Yukon is concerned. Challenge of the Yukon is an exciting program heard every Saturday night over most of these ABC stations. Against the background of the vast Alaskan wilderness in which the Klondike gold rush of the 90s took place, Sergeant Preston pursues his duties of maintaining law and order among prospectors and adventurers. And assisting Preston in his exciting duties is King, his big Eskimo lead dog. During the unfolding of these colorful tales of the gold country, you'll not only learn the characteristics of King, a husky, but from time to time other dogs, collies, wolfhounds, Danes, and mongrels, are also brought into the story, thereby showing traits peculiar to their breeds. Yes, Challenge of the Yukon appeals to dog lovers as well as to folks who go for wild life stories and dramas of adventure. So for a complete half hour, listen to Challenge of the Yukon, Saturday night. And now, back to Dick Tracy.
Say, Dick, aren't we just about entering Northern Valley?
Yes, but relax, Pat. As long as we're not on a freight train, we've got nothing to worry about.
Yes, nothing to worry about. Nothing except certain death at the hands of the Honorable Benton Malice. Better be sure to tune in Monday for the adventures of Dick Tracy, heard overseas through the Armed Forces Radio Service. And this is George Gunn speaking. Starting tomorrow, the Metropolitan Opera will begin its annual season of Saturday afternoon broadcasts over most of these ABC stations. And that means, from the operatic stage of New York's famous Metropolitan Opera House, you'll enjoy celebrated artists singing in the great musical tradition of grand opera. Renowned stars like Lily Pons, Helen Traubel, Lauritz Melchior, Ezio Pinza, Robert Merrill, and Licia Albanese. And as in the past, Milton Cross will be on hand every week to tell you the story of each opera. Don't miss the Metropolitan Opera Saturday afternoons, starting, of course, tomorrow over most of these same ABC stations. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company. Broadcasting Company. Broadcasting Company.
One of old-time radio's longest-running and most popular programs, CBS Mystery Theater, is up next.
Magee Marshall. Welcome again through the creaking door. The sound which always signifies the beginning of another tale of danger and suspense. Being in the mystery business, our fables often deal with crime and criminals. This time, it's a thief, but a thief with a very definite difference. For Ruth Moody is a young lady who walks into department stores and simply helps herself. Simply because she can't help herself. Yes, you've heard of her peculiar ailment. It's called kleptomania, the neurotic impulse to steal. But kleptomania isn't the only trouble in store for Ruth. Our mystery drama, The Trouble with Ruth, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Henry Slessor and stars Marion Seldes. It is sponsored in part by the Kellogg Company, makers of Kellogg's Special K cereal and new sugar-free diet 7-Up. I'll be back shortly with Act One. Barnett's department store in the downtown shopping district. And if it looks and sounds like a battlefield this morning, it's no different from any other Saturday. Well, maybe a little more so, since Barnett is running its semi-annual clearance sale, just as it does every other month. It's the ideal place and time for bargain hunters, and unfortunately, for shoplifters.
Pardon me, miss.
Yes?
Would you mind coming with me just for a moment, please?
What for?
Our assistant manager, Mr. Hutchins, would like a word with you.
I don't know, Mr. Hutchins. Why does he want to talk to me?
Now, please don't make any trouble. I could call the guard and have you escorted upstairs. You wouldn't want me to do that, now, would you?
Guard? Oh, why? What have I done?
I think you know exactly what you've done now. Will you please come with me quietly? Right in here, please.
It's a mistake. I did take the scarf, but I was going to pay for it.
Here's the lady, Mr. Hutchins.
All right, Bill, thanks.
You want me to stick around?
No, it's all right.
Okay, then I'll get back on the floor. It's murder down there.
More larceny than murder, I'd say.
Right.
Please, sit down.
Mr. Hutchins, I know it looks like I took the scarf deliberately, but really I didn't.
You were going to pay for it at another counter. Is that the idea?
No, I wanted to match the color with the purses, and that's why I put the scarf in my bag. I wanted to go over to the handbag section.
Would you mind telling me your name?
I'm not a shoplifter, so help me, I'm not. My name is Ruth Martin.
Is it Mrs. Martin?
Look at me. Can't you tell I'm not a thief? I don't even know why I took this scarf. It's just a cheap little thing. It's not at all like the clothes I wear. Well, look at me. Can't you tell?
Would you wait just one moment, Mrs. Martin?
What's that you've got?
Oh, it's just a little handbook we keep, sort of a private record book. You see, most of the retailers in this city cooperate in these matters, supplying each other with the names of known kleptomaniacs. I'm sure you've heard that word before.
I am not a thief.
Well, that's what I'm trying to determine, Mrs. Martin. Since there is a significant difference between shoplifters and kleptos, the difference, of course, being our ability to prosecute, since one steals for gain and one because she can't help it. No, I'm afraid I don't see any Ruth Martin in the book.
All right. It's Moody.
Pardon?
My real name is Mrs. Ruth Moody. I didn't want to give you my real name. I didn't want my husband to know
Moody.
about this.
Yes, here it is. Ferraro's, 3 spools of thread, pearl buttons from Wilkinson Smith.
Oh, well, the last time it was a handbag. Awful, ugly, beaded thing. It wasn't even worth more than $5 or $6. Are you going to call my husband?
Is that what happened at these other places?
Yes. Oh, it was awful. Please, I have the money to pay for the scarf. I'll gladly pay you twice what it was worth. Please don't let him know it happened again.
Don't you think it's best that he know? Maybe he'll try to help you over the problem.
Don't make me beg you. My husband has a job in the city government, a very important
Mrs.
job.
Moody, I'm not interested in causing you any trouble, believe me.
Look, here, take the scarf back.
Well, what's this?
Nothing. Some costume jewelry that I bought in another...
Mrs. Moody, you didn't buy this any more than you bought the scarf. It still has the price tag on it.
$1.95. That's what makes it so unbelievable, Ruth. $1.95 rhinestone pin.
Don't know why I took it, Ralph. Any more than I know what drove me to pick up that awful scarf and just drop it in my bag. Just like those other times.
Yes, but you swore to me that those other times would never be repeated.
Well, I thought it was over. I really did.
I don't understand what goes on in your mind when you do these crazy things.
I don't know. It's just an impulse. It seems so terribly easy. The things are just sitting out in the open the way they are, and I never even stop to think if I like it. Just if I can get away with it.
But you never do. You get caught. Maybe that's part of the sickness, too, huh?
Oh, stop saying I'm sick. I'm not.
Well, what would you call it? Look, honey, you've got to see a doctor. I've told you that a dozen times.
I will not go to a doctor. I can't stand the idea of it, Ralph.
Just talk to one. Give him a chance. Maybe it's something simple. Maybe you're just trying to get punished because of guilt feelings that you can't resolve.
Oh, you're wrong about wanting to get caught. I don't. I swear I don't. I've gotten away with a dozen things.
What? What was that?
Nothing. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
And it isn't just 3-4 times that this has been going on. You're probably out there shoplifting every single day.
That's not true. I almost never go into the stores for exactly that reason.
All right, Ruth. That settles it. You are going to talk to a doctor.
Then, you do remember the first time you stole, Mrs. Moody?
Yes. I remember very well, but it was something I really wanted then, Dr. Berger. That was the big difference.
How old were you?
I was about 8 or 9. I was in school. There was a girl named Fanny Ritter. Her family was very wealthy. She was always the best-dressed girl in the class.
Yes.
She had this pencil box. It was absolutely beautiful, with a blue binding and all sorts of secret compartments. I wanted that pencil box so much. And one day I walked into an empty classroom, and there it was, lying on the seat.
Yes, and were you caught?
No. I was never caught.
Mm-hmm.
That was the biggest thrill of all, not being caught. But then
I also realized I couldn't use the pencil box. At least not at school.
Yes, I see.
All kids steal sometimes. There's nothing abnormal about it.
But you're not a child now, are you? And yet, you still crave this secret feeling, this secret gratification.
No, you're wrong. I don't get any pleasure out of taking things. I feel terrible afterwards every single time.
Ah, but that may be exactly the gratification you require.
I don't want to hear any more. You sound just like my husband.
Believe me, Mrs. Moody, neither your husband nor I want to find fault with you. We both want to help you.
Well, it's his job my husband is worried about, not me.
Why do you say that?
Because he works for the city government in the comptroller's office, and he's afraid if they ever found out about me that he... Why am I talking about Ralph that way? I know he loves me. I know he wants to help me.
Yes. So why don't you let him try? Let both of us try.
No. I don't need a doctor. All I need is to stay out of department stores. Who is it? All right.
Mrs. Moody?
Yes?
Hi, Mrs. Moody. You don't know me, but my name is Tom Andrea. There's something I have to talk to you about.
I know exactly what it is. Encyclopedias. Or is it magazine subscriptions?
No, ma'am. It's nothing like that.
Well, whatever it is, I'm not interested.
It's about department stores.
What?
You know, stores where people buy things and take things, too, sometimes.
Are you from Barnett?
No, Mrs. Moody, I don't work for Barnett or for Wilkins and Smith or any of those places that you like to shop in. Look, it's pretty drafty out here. Can't I come in for a minute?
All right.
Thank you. Your husband's not home, I suppose. I mean, it's a working day, so he's at work, right?
Oh, that's clever thinking.
Can we talk in here?
Only if you get right to the point.
Well, now, look, this ain't the kind of thing you like to just blurt out. I mean, it's kind of sensitive. You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
I mean, it's about you and your husband and so forth. If you think about it for a while, you'll get my meaning. Am I right?
You'll have to be more specific.
Well, you just won't come out with it yourself, huh? Okay, I'll say it for you. I'm talking about you being a shoplifter.
That's a lie. Whoever told you that is a liar.
No. It's true.
Wait a minute. If you think you can blackmail me by telling my husband...
No, Mrs. Moody. We know that your husband knows all about it. He's been getting you out of jams for years.
Then what do you want here?
Well, believe it or not, I want to give you money. I don't want to take any from you.
What for?
Services rendered.
What?
I got a little proposition for you, Mrs. Moody. How would you like to make $1,000?
$1,000? How?
Well, you do like I said. You'll get $1,000 in the mail. But if you don't, well, your husband may not be able to make a living anymore. You get what I mean?
No. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about stealing stuff, Mrs. Moody, about that bad habit of yours. Now, we got a use for that habit. And you'd better listen to what we have in mind.
How did you know about me? Who told you about me?
Well, let's just say I got sources.
I swear to you, I'm not a thief.
Yeah, sure, I know that. We know it.
We?
Well, me and my friend. We know you're just a sick lady, that you can't help what you do. It's just like you had pneumonia or hay fever. It's not your fault. Am I right?
That's right.
Yeah, looks fine, only your husband still don't want the people around City Hall to know he's got a klepto for a wife. Does he?
Then this is blackmail.
A man in his line of work, he can't afford to have people know his wife steals. Now, some people would understand how it's only a sickness. But others, Well, you know how people are.
Tell me how much money you want.
I don't want a dime from you, Mrs. Moody. Honest, all I want is your cooperation. You see, my friend and me, we have a little plan. A really, really sweet little idea. Everybody makes money and nobody takes any chances. Oh, what could be sweeter than that?
A plan to do what, for heaven's sake?
Well, my friend will give you all the details. All you got to do now is put on your coat and come with me. My friend will give you the whole deal.
I'm not coming with you.
We're not desperate for your help. Don't get this wrong. But we thought we'd give you a break. Well, it's too bad.
If you just tell me what you have in mind.
Why, shoplifting, Mrs. Moody. A little nice and easy shoplifting. Only this time not for no $5 piece of junk. This time for something worth more like $50,000.
Well, troubles have a way of multiplying themselves, don't they? And as you've just heard, the trouble with Ruth has suddenly developed serious complications. Will Mrs. Moody's unwilling petty larceny turn into larceny of the grand variety? We'll find out when we return shortly with Act 2. Mrs. Ruth Moody, faced with the prospect of harming her husband's career, has accepted the invitation of the man who calls himself Tom Andrea, although her instincts tell her that Tom Andrea isn't his name at all. As they drive towards their unknown destination, she steals sidelong glances at him, noting the copper sheen of his skin, the look of a man who has spent far too many hours under a sun lamp. But he also has the look of a man who won't take no for an answer.
Can't you tell me where we're going?
Now, relax, Mrs. Moody. It won't be long now.
Who is this friend of yours, anyway?
You'll meet him.
He works for a department store, doesn't he? I know they keep records of people like, well, of kleptomania victims. That's the only way you could have found out about me.
I just lean back and enjoy the ride, huh?
Aren't you afraid I might recognize him if he's one of the people that I've met?
Here we are, Mrs. Moody. Told you it wasn't very far.
The Hotel Hamilton. Looks like a fire trap.
Well, it's not very fancy, but it's private. We can all have a nice, quiet talk. Just the three of us.
One moment. That you, Tom?
Yeah, it's me.
The lady with you?
Yep, she's here.
Just a second, then.
Oh.
No, don't be scared, Mrs. Moody. My friend doesn't really look like that. He's just got a stocking over his face.
Come in. I hope you will forgive the mask, Mrs. Moody. I know it looks grotesque, but it's necessary. For your own protection.
For me?
It's important that you don't recognize me after our business is concluded. It would be embarrassing if we were to run into each other in different circumstances.
In a department store, for instance?
What my friend means, Mrs. Moody, is that if you started hollering for the cops when you saw him again, we would have to do something about you. Understand?
Yes, I understand.
But please don't be alarmed. Nothing like that's going to happen. I can assure you that I am not a professional criminal. No more than you are.
Then what kind of criminal are you?
Why don't you sit down? The sofa's the only comfortable seat in the room. Here, let me take these papers away. I was just drawing up a few diagrams to help you understand exactly what you have to do.
Diagrams?
Would you like some coffee? We have a small kitchen. There's pot already made.
No, I don't want any coffee.
Tom, why don't you do the honors? Do you drink yours black, Mrs. Moody? I'm afraid I don't have any cream.
All right, black coffee.
I see, Mrs. Moody. I told you it was going to be very friendly.
Well, now, how much has Tom told you about our little enterprise?
He just said that if I didn't help you, you'd tell my husband's employers about me.
Well, I really hate for that to be the inducement, Mrs. Moody. I was hoping that you'd cooperate more willingly.
Why should I?
Well, didn't Tom mention the $1,000?
He also mentioned something about $50,000, about shoplifting something worth a fortune.
Oh, don't tell me you have qualms about it. A lady with your history?
You just don't understand about me. I don't take things because they're valuable or even because I want them. I'm not a thief, not in the ordinary sense of the word.
Yes, we know that. And that's exactly why we're taking you into our little circle, Mrs. Moody, because you're a kleptomaniac, not an ordinary thief. And that's why you can help us commit an extraordinary crime.
But I don't want to commit a crime, and I don't want your $1,000.
Here's your coffee, Mrs. Moody.
Let me tell you what makes it so different, Mrs. Moody. An ordinary crime entails a certain amount of risk. But this particular crime is guaranteed to be risk-free.
No, that's what people always think.
No, Mrs. Moody. Even professional criminals recognize a certain degree of chance when they plan their enterprises. Personally, I would never get involved in anything like that. I loathe the idea of being arrested.
Well, so do I. And I know exactly what it feels like.
Ah, but you've never been arrested, have you? You've been detained, questioned, reprimanded, warned, but you've never been arrested once. Isn't that true?
Well, why should I be? I told you, I'm not a criminal.
No, you're not legally liable for your little thefts, Mrs. Moody. You steal because you have to steal. And if you're caught, you merely give back what you've stolen, and that's that. No arrest, no prosecution, no risk.
You beginning to see the point, Mrs. Moody?
You want me to steal something for you.
That's right, Mrs. Moody, and something a great deal more valuable than, shall we say, a spool of thread.
Oh, dear Lord.
Let me explain our plan in detail. At 12:15 tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow?
At 12:15. You'll enter a shop called Travell's on 47th Street, just off 5th Avenue. You may not know the place. It's a rather expensive jeweler's. You will approach a certain counter. The diagram will make it clear which one
Wait a minute. You're talking as if I've already agreed to do this thing.
Please look at the diagram, Mrs. Moody. You will approach this counter and engage the attention of the salesman. You will ask to see a certain tray, the one I've marked with the arrow. A moment or two after you begin to examine that tray, there will be a disturbance in the store.
Right, a disturbance.
The disturbance will take place on the other side of the counter. It is almost inevitable that your salesman will have his attention drawn away from you when it occurs. In all likelihood, he'll leave you and go to see what has happened. That's when you will act. You'll pick up the diamond pin on the upper right-hand corner of the tray and drop it into your purse. And then you'll simply walk out the door.
You're really mad.
As you can see from the drawing, the distance between the counter and the door is a very short one. You can reach it within 3 or 4 seconds. You can be sure that your salesman will be much too occupied to notice that you have left.
I won't do any such thing. That's plain and simple robbery.
When you reach the outside, you'll see a man with a yellow canister collecting funds for children's welfare. The man will approach you immediately. You will drop the diamond pin into the opening of the canister and walk to the corner. There will be a taxi there in all probability. It's a hack stand. If there isn't a taxi waiting, hail one or walk to the bus stop. Believe me, you will have ample time to make your getaway.
There isn't going to be any getaway. I am not going to do anything so insane.
As I said before, you'll be perfectly safe. You'll have absolutely nothing to lose. If you're stopped before you reach the exit, simply give yourself up. When Travels learns of your little idiosyncrasy, no harm will come to you. It'll be just another neurotic incident, nothing more.
You're wasting your breath.
You'll tell them about your problem. They'll check with other stores and find your case history on file.
No, there's no way I'll do such a thing.
Hey, what's the matter with you, lady? Didn't you hear the man? You can't get into trouble doing this. But your husband will if you don't.
Let me out of here, please. Pick someone else out of those files.
All right, Tom. If that's how Mrs. Moody wants it.
Then I can go.
The door was always open, lady. See?
But if you change your mind, Mrs. Moody, just call me here at the Hotel Hamilton. Just ask for room 408. But if I don't hear from you tonight, well, you know what we'll have to do.
You've sure been quiet tonight, Ruth.
Have I?
You didn't go out today, did you?
No. I told you I wasn't going anywhere.
I was just wondering. I mean, you said something about dinner tonight, about cooking something special, and here we are with last night's meatloaf.
But you said you didn't mind.
No, of course, I don't mind. You know I'm not fussy about food.
I know. You're just too nice for your own good sometimes, Ralph.
And, you just weren't feeling up to cooking today, is that it?
Oh, I know what you're thinking. You think I went on another shopping spree, or should I say shoplifting?
No, Ruth, I didn't think anything of the kind.
Well, I didn't. I swear I didn't.
Okay.
Ralph, can I ask you something?
Sure.
What would happen if people knew about me?
What people?
The people you work for, in the controller's office. Or, the mayor himself. What if they knew about my illness?
They'd know, that's all.
Would it hurt you?
Honey, this is silly. Nobody knows about your problem but you and me and a few department stores. And Dr. Berger, of course, the doctor you won't see anymore.
But if they were to find out, would it hurt you?
Look, haven't we got enough to worry about without thinking the worst?
Then it would be bad for you. Someone in your position where honesty is so important.
Ruth, you're not dishonest. You're sick. There's a tremendous difference. That's why I'm so sorry you won't see that doctor.
But would everyone understand the difference? I mean, when they learned about my stealing things, would they think twice about you?
You want the truth? Yes. Yes, they would. They're only human. No, they're worse than human. They're politicians. They have to be elected to office, and that's exactly the kind of scandal they don't like.
Yes. I guess I've always known that was true.
Honey, I think I could use some more gravy.
Yes. Oh, I have some in the kitchen. I'll be right back. Is this the Hotel Hamilton? Room 408, please.
And so Mrs. Ruth Moody has taken the first fatal step. And tomorrow at noon, she'll take several more steps to the doors of Travell's Jewelry. And for the first time in her life, Ruth will steal and know the reason why she's stealing. Will it really make a difference? I'll be back shortly with Act 3. At 11:30 the next morning, Mrs. Ruth Moody left her apartment and took a Fifth Avenue bus to 47th Street. None of the other passengers saw anything unusual in her expression. They couldn't read the turmoil of her thoughts or the fear that haunted her eyes behind the sunglasses she wore to hide them. She kept telling herself that what the man in the stocking mask said was only too true, that no matter what happened, she couldn't be blamed for what she was about to do. She was still telling herself that when she pushed open the heavy glass door of Travell's.
May I help you, madam?
Oh, yes, please. I'm looking for a diamond pin. It's a present for my mother.
I see. Do you have any particular kind of pin in mind? We have everything from abstract designs to representational pins. You know, animals and flowers and so forth.
Maybe if I just browsed a little?
Certainly. You can see some of our selection right here, but we do have others.
Oh, yes. There's so many, aren't there?
Of course, it would help if you knew the price range.
Well, the price isn't important. It's just that the pin be right.
Yes, I see.
This tray right here, on the first shelf.
Yes?
Well, that seems to have quite a few nice pins.
Yes, I'll bring it out for you. Actually, these are some of the best stones in our collection. You have good taste.
They really do sparkle, don't they?
This is what I meant by representational. As you can see, it's in the shape of a cat.
Oh, well, no. My mother hates cats. I think maybe just something simple.
You just take your time.
All right. Thank you.
What was that? Someone smashed one of my cases. Excuse me.
Terribly sorry. A clumsy thing to do. It's all my fault. I was holding my umbrella under my arm that just slipped out and hit the glass. I'm terribly sorry.
Got to do it now.
I really don't know how.
All right. Just step back, please. Bob, would you lend a hand over here? There's glass all over the merchandise.
I feel dreadful about this.
It's quite all right, sir. No harm done to all, I assure you.
I've done it. I've really done it. Outside.
Help the needy children. Help the needy children, lady.
What?
Please help the Children's Welfare Society, lady.
Oh, yes, of course. Here. That's all I have.
Thanks very, very much, lady. Thanks a lot. Help the needy children.
Ralph? Is that you?
Yes, I'm home. How are you, honey?
I'm all right.
You sure? You don't look so good.
No, I'm fine, really. Would you like a drink?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind, thanks. What'd you do today?
I went out for a little while.
Where to?
Oh, no in particular. I took a walk. Weather was nice.
Uh-huh.
Took some things to the cleaners, did a little marketing. Here's your drink.
Oh, thanks.
For heaven's sake, stop looking at me like that. I can't bear the way you look at me sometimes, Ralph.
I'm sorry, Ruth. It's nothing deliberate.
Well, of course it's deliberate. It happens all the time now. You keep staring at me as if you're trying to read my mind. As if you wanted me to confess something.
Now, Ruth, that isn't true. You've got to stop thinking such things every time I look at you.
What's going to happen to us, Ralph? What kind of marriage are we going to have from now on?
Ruth, we've been married 6 years now. I think we know how to live with each other.
But you can't live with this disease of mine. You can never stop suspecting me of having stolen something again. Isn't that what you're thinking right now?
All I'm thinking about is that you don't look well. And how disappointed I am that you won't see Dr. Berger. I called him today, by the way.
What for?
Well, I just wanted to talk to him, find out if there was anything more I could do to help you.
And what did he say?
He said there might be.
Well, what do you mean by that?
Well, I told Berger about our talk last night, about how worried you are that the people at City Hall might find out about your illness. Now, he told me that was an important part of your guilt syndrome, whatever that means.
Oh, I hate that psychiatric double talk.
Just the same, he thought you'd be a lot better off if you weren't concerned about such things. If you were able to admit that you were ill.
I do admit it. That doesn't mean that other people have to know about it.
Ruth, I told him.
What?
I told McGuire, the controller. I took him out to lunch. I told him all about your kleptomania.
Oh, no, Ralph. Oh, no.
Look, I began to realize that I was hiding it, too, that I wasn't treating it like an illness, either. That I was acting as if it were something shameful.
What did you do it for?
For us, Ruth.
But now you'll lose your job.
No, I'm not going to lose my job. It's going to be all right.
But you said...
Now, I know all the dumb things I said last night about how this sort of thing can hurt a politician. Well, I was wrong. McGuire is more of a human being than a politician.
You mean he's not going to tell anyone else? He won't give me away?
No, that's not what I meant. McGuire suggested that we both go and talk to the mayor himself about this.
Oh, Ralph, you can't.
I already have, Ruth.
What?
I've seen the mayor. And you know what he said? He said that it wouldn't make any difference to him this year or next year when he recommends me for the #1 job in the controller's office.
The #1?
That's right. McGuire is moving up next in line for his job. And the mayor is behind me now, Ruth. Do you think he'd be behind me if he really thought my wife was a thief?
Oh, dear Lord.
Ruth.
Oh, what have I done? What have I done?
Honey, what is it?
Oh, why did I go through with this?
What's the matter, Ruth? I just told you everything's okay.
No. I've ruined everything now, Ralph. If you knew what a horrible thing I did today.
What are you talking about?
I am a thief now. God help me, Ralph. I really am a thief.
Try and stay calm, Ruth. Did you get a look at the man who broke the glass with his umbrella? Do you think that he was the same man you met yesterday at the Hotel Hamilton?
I'm sure he was. But I told you he was wearing a stocking mask over his face.
And this other man, though, the one who called himself Tom Andrea, he was the same man who was collecting for children's welfare outside the store.
Yes.
Ruth, you know, there's only one thing to do now, don't you?
What do you mean?
We've got to tell the police.
Oh, Ralph, no, that would be awful.
Travels will have discovered the theft by now. They must have your description from the clerk. Sooner or later, you might be identified.
But they can't do anything to me, Ralph. I'm not responsible. I'm sick.
No, Ruth, in this case, you are responsible. That's why we have to call the police.
All right, Mrs. Moody. Here's the typed statement you gave us.
Can I go home after I sign it?
Yes, of course. But better read it over first.
What happens after that, Lieutenant Ames?
That depends.
On what?
Well, mostly on whether or not your wife has told us everything.
But I swear I have.
I'm not saying your story is phony, Mrs. Moody. My own viewpoint is that it's too cockeyed to be phony. But that may be a subtle way of looking at it.
Why should she lie about this, Lieutenant? What would my wife have to gain?
Well, she could stand to gain a diamond pin worth almost $50,000.
But she doesn't have the diamond. She gave it to them.
Yes, that's a story. But let's say, for example, that those two men never existed.
Oh, that's a horrible thing to say.
I'm telling you how other people might see this thing. If you were a crook and you realized that you'd been spotted in Travels, well, this story of yours would put you in the clear, wouldn't it?
But it's true. Every word of it.
But you see the problem, don't you? You've been identified as a robber. You've confessed to stealing the pin. The fact that you're a known kleptomaniac doesn't help.
Some people might even be nasty enough to say that you got yourself that reputation deliberately.
This is incredible. You're accusing my wife of being a thief.
Oh, what can I say to convince you?
If you could only give me a better description of those two men.
Well, I've done the best I could. The first man, he was of average height, dark hair, very sunburned.
Yeah. You keep telling me about that sunburn. But that's not going to last very long, is it?
Lieutenant, you think that sunburn was a kind of disguise?
I'm sure it was, Mr. Moody.
All right, and the other man, he wore a stocking mask. There's no way I can describe him.
What about the hotel, Lieutenant?
No good. It's a kind of a dump which doesn't even bother to keep a register, even though it's a city ordinance.
But the clerk might be able to identify the man who took the room.
Maybe, if we could produce him. Only, how do we do that?
What about the $1,000 they promised to send her?
Oh, I wouldn't count on that. If she's telling the truth, you'll never hear from him again. Okay, so maybe it's a new gimmick. Maybe one of them works in a department store, has access to the names of recognized kleptos.
I'm sure he did work in a department store.
Yeah, and so do thousands of people, Miss Moody. All you've got to do is name the one.
And if she can't, what happens then?
I think you know the answer to that.
Will I be arrested?
But you can't arrest her. She's sick. She was seeing a doctor.
And I'm going to see him again. Oh, so help me, Ralph.
You really mean that, Ruth?
I'm not going to stop seeing Dr. Berger until I'm cured. Unless they send me to prison first.
Well, have you read the statement, Miss Moody?
Yes, it's all right. I'm ready to sign it.
Fine. Yeah, let's see. I thought I had a pen on this desk.
Oh, well, I think there's one in my purse.
I'll get it. Hey, it's funny.
What is?
Well, this isn't your pen, Ruth. I don't recognize it, do you?
Let me see. No, that isn't my pen.
Oh, Ruthie, no, not again.
You mean you stole it, Mrs. Moody?
I'm afraid I did. I remember now. When the man was drawing the diagrams of the jewelry store, he left his pen on the coffee table, and I just couldn't stop myself.
Wait a minute. You stole his pen, the man in the stocking mask?
Yes. Will you arrest me for that, too?
Let me see it. Miss Moody, do you realize there's a name on this pen? It's from Barnett's department store, and it's engraved with the name of the owner.
What?
Barnett's department store, J.M. Hutchins.
Hutchins? He's the assistant manager. He's the one.
Lieutenant, you found your man.
Well, what do you know? This is the first time I've ever seen the proof of that old chestnut.
Old chestnut?
That it takes a thief to catch a thief.
The moral of this story might be, never steal anything small, particularly if it's a diamond pin worth $50,000. Well, you'll be happy to know that the police investigation proved the guilt of Mr. J.M. Hutchins and the innocence of Mrs. Ruth Moody. And the last we heard, the only trouble with Ruth was going to be a little one. I'll be back shortly.
Look, let's put an end to all this gloomy-sounding stuff you've been getting so much of lately. Income tax is behind us, spring is here, Aaron's hit number 715, and there's even reason for hope with the gasoline thing. It's in this new spirit that I'd like to talk to you about buying a new car. It's a small car, one you can judge sanely, and not just in terms of how many miles per gallon it gives you. The car is a Buick Apollo. Like any self-respecting small car, it is economical. It's got a 6-cylinder engine and a 21-gallon gas tank, which combine to give Apollo good gas economy and great range. But Apollo can also seat 6 passengers, and it has the kind of smoothness, quietness, and interior comfort that you'd expect of a Buick. Okay, you're looking for a car, and you think it should be small. Well, Buick has the car, Apollo. But don't buy it because it's small. Buy it because it's a Buick.
You've seen the Budweiser commercials on television, and maybe you've wondered how long people have been putting that famous Bud label on things. Well, not as long as the brewers of Bud have been putting things on the label. Things like a list of Bud's most important ingredients. Quote, brewed by our original process from the choicest hops, rice, and best barley malt. And things like the following statement. This is the famous Budweiser beer. We know of no brand produced by any other brewer which costs so much to brew and age. Our exclusive Beechwood aging produces a taste, a smoothness, and a drinkability you will find in no other beer at any price. Unquote. Yes, brewing beer right does make a difference. Read the Bud label. Taste the king of beers, and you'll agree, when you say Budweiser, you've said it all. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Metro Goldwyn Mayer presents That's Entertainment.
The clown with his pants falling down, or the dance that's the dream of romance, or the scene where the villain is mean. That's entertainment.
That's Entertainment, with special appearances by Elizabeth Taylor, Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly, James Stewart, Debbie Reynolds, Mickey Rooney, Bing Crosby, Liza Minnelli, Donald O'Connor, Peter Lawford, and Frank Sinatra. That's Entertainment. It's more than a movie, it's a celebration.
The gag may be waving a flag that began with the Mr. Cohan hip hooray. The American way, the world is the stage is the world of entertainment.
That's Entertainment. Rated G.
Gala premiere Thursday, May 23rd at 7 p.m. Ziegfeld Theater. Come see the stars. Continuous performances start May 24th.
Our cast included Marion Seldes, George Petrie, Jack Grimes, Jackson Beck, and Gil Mack. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Sign-Off, the Sinus Medicines, Buick Motor Division, and Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, brewers of Budweiser. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.